Yo, what is shaking, everybody? Welcome to our Saturday edition. Oh wait, that's the wrong one. Let me get this one. There we go. Check. All right, there we go. All right, now we're cooking with water, fire. Oh boy, I'm exhausted. For good reasons, both work and just I was in a space till almost 6 a.m. yesterday, this morning. And honestly, it was the spaces that I've been doing here in the last couple of days because the lady's been out of town, and I've been really dedicating some time to these spaces, just as like an experiment. And when certain people aren't there, these spaces are really great. There's disagreement, but there's respect. And what I've realized here in the last couple of days is there's a lot of people out there that only have one sort of version of me that they've seen. They've never seen UCR. They have no clue about the big phone home. There are so many aspects about me that they have no clue. And they're coming into the community, and the first things they're hearing are Red Panda Koala, Tupa, UAP Mike, King Milk Fart. And they're listening to all of the things they say. And then when you get in these spaces and they're in there, it usually leads to confrontation because it's the only language they speak. It's the only thing that they can focus on. I've been accused of attacking Red Panda in the last couple days. I've been accused of attacking Chupacabra with King Milk Fart, with Leah Prime. He's getting that idea from UAP Mike, because now, everybody's friends. And so I wanted to go over the timeline again. I mean, I've already shown a section of these messages, but, the question keeps coming up from Mike. Well, what, how many messages are there between you and Leah Prime? What were you guys doing behind the scenes? All of these accusations and inferring and, just a bunch of lashing out and bullshit. And yes, I spoke to Leah Prime. I'm going to show every fucking single text message that I had with her right now. And I will show you guys how little I knew about King Milk Fart and Leah putting this stuff out. And then how I pretty much walked away from it after that. It shows a conversation between me and Chupacabra when he got called out. And he was trying to mend a bridge with me, but I felt it was a fake apology. And by the end of the conversation, he threatens me. So it was a fake apology. We're going to go over all of it. We're going to go over this idea that UAP Mike, was calling out all of these awful people within these Twitter and Zoom spaces that they were holding privately. These groups of just fucking maniacs, absolute maniacs. I'm going to show how Cosmic Dahlia and UAP Mike have gone after my girlfriend, who's got nothing to do with any of this stuff. When it comes to the people who've been attacked in this community, like Ocean, like Tupa, like RPK, like B, like the list goes on and on and on. Jeremy McGowan, Paranormal Chris. There are so many people that have horror stories specifically from King Milk Fart. King Milk Fart is the tip of the spear when it comes to UFO subculture harassment. He is 100% the tip of this very fucking sharp spear. And then right behind the very tip, pretty much splitting the tip of the spear, is UAP Mike. He's been in this community for a long time. And I have a conversation from last year with Tupa where he discusses Ocean being harassed and doxxed and having CPS called on her. And Mike claims that he said that was fucked up within these groups and he championed that nobody should do that. But yet he stuck around in that group for another year. Apparently the behavior wasn't bad enough for him to go, you know what? I'm fucking out of here. Like, I'm out of here. I don't need this shit in my life. No, instead he stuck around and hung out with the tip of the spear. He was part of the tip of the spear when it comes to harassment in this community. And I'm going to prove it. I'm going to prove it right now. Based just with the lies that he's told with my connection to Leah Prime. And we're going to go through everything. And there's a couple moments here where I'm like, oh, shit, I don't remember that. And shit, I did say that. And I will give you my mindset as we're going through all of these messages. Now, there are parts of this that are, it's a video of my entire stream of text. I edited out, I believe, 3 things. And there are 3 things that would give away information to find people better. And I don't want to do that. Okay. So I left out some of those details, but out of 100% of the text, we're talking about less than 2% of the entire stream of messages. It's around, I didn't count it, but I'm guessing somewhere in the range of like 40 to 60 messages between her and I. And you'll see how quickly this relationship cuts off as well. And why it cut off. So, where do we begin? First of all, I want to show a couple of images that I've been sharing in these spaces last night. And they're not images I like to share. They when I saw them the first time, it's what it's like really pissed me off and made me go pretty like not I went hard after UAP Mike. You know, his whole thing, he loves making fun of fat people. He does it all the time. It's every space he's in. He is fat shaming. He hates fat people. And so because of all this harping that he's been doing about my weight, about my girlfriend's weight, behind the scenes in these group chats that he participated in for years, they all made fun of my weight. It's the lowest. Anytime you come at me with "you're fat," if that's the first response out of your mouth, you've already lost. You've already lost. Like, there are 4 million responses that I have to a comment like that. But instead of getting in a back and forth about how fat he is, instead what I did is I made a meme. Okay? And again, like, this meme is coming after years and years and years of harassment. Where is this a picture? Let me see here. Let's just go to Mike's new page. Oh, and that's another thing. If UAP Mike was such an honest guy and everything that he was saying was true, he wouldn't have deleted his entire account. His UAP Mike account, which had thousands and thousands of followers. Why did he delete it? I'm also getting people telling me when they ask him if he's ever going to reinstate it or why he deleted it, he blocks them. So that should be a big red flag for Mike as far as his intentions and what kind of person he is. I've never deleted my account, and I'm about to show you how transparent I am about everything that I do with this show. No one here can deny that I have shown how much money I make, both in Patreon and YouTube. I've been as transparent with what I make and what happens behind the scenes in this show. Again, more than any other UFO podcaster out there. I cannot think of one UFO podcaster that has come out and showed how much money he makes off YouTube. I would love to see Matt Ford's numbers. Like, I would love to see them. How, when he got that spike, the second he started talking about UFOs, and how that growth continues because he took my place. They literally gave it to Matt Ford. So now all the guests that were going to be on my show are now on his show, and he's just taken the mantle. And he's ridden that UFO success to a very big, influential YouTube channel. And with that stuff comes Patreons, comes dollars. Okay. And to speak out against the people that are giving you the access that give you those numbers would be financial suicide. Like I showed with my show. Again, I walked away from $40,000 a year doing this show. I showed everybody how much I made doing this show. I challenged that UFO podcast. I challenged Ryan Sprague. I challenged all of them to show their YouTube numbers. Matt Ford, none of them have stepped up to the plate. Not one. Okay. So when it comes to transparency, I don't think there's anybody on this platform that's been more transparent than me. That's just fact. It really, really is. And I, again, challenge anyone to dispute that. Go find me another go ask Ashton Forbes to show how much money he makes on YouTube, and show the whole year, the whole graph, all of it. They'll never do that because it's a lot more than you think it is. Okay. It's enough to quit a shitty part-time or full-time job in some cases. Like, you're talking over 100K in the case of now that UFO podcast. I would project they're probably making north of $200,000 a year. Now, this is what UAP Mike put out 2 hours ago in response to this show. Okay, because he's going to try and prove that they never looked up my girlfriend's job. They never went to her Instagram and pulled pictures. I did all of the attacking first. That's what they're going to say here in the next few hours when they throw big fucking hissy fits after they watch what I'm going to show you guys. So Mike comes out and says, proven conclusively that Lou Angeles started the ugly name calling of significant others. Here you see he insults me with cropped images and calls my wife fat on 11/16. Cosmic Dahlia responds on 11/17. But look at what I say in this text. This guy, UAP Mike, loves, all caps, making fun of my weight. So he's been pointing his ire at me. Okay. And so is his wife. There are other pictures that his wife made well before this date. Okay. And I'll show you why that's true, because of the content in which she made her fucking memes. And you'll see it's pretty goddamn gross compared to what I did to him. Okay. Loves making fun of my weight. But what do we have here? A double chin. This picture, by the way, I took from his very public Mike Boyle YouTube channel. It's it's not a bad angle. It's who he is. Okay, this is not the camera adding 10 pounds. Take it from a fat guy. You're fat. You are fat. And that's what I'm making the point with this meme and this comment right here. So I say, ooh, look, a double chin, man boobs. Oh my God, Mike, you're a fat fuck. You're a fat fuck too. Finally, some common ground. Okay, so I'm also making fun of myself. This is self-deprecating humor. This is what happens when you come at me with the fat jokes for 2 fucking years. Okay, this is the first fucking meme I made of you, and you lost your shit. Okay, meanwhile, you were still in the hate group that everybody talks about and that Red Panda and Tupa have just been talking about for the last year and a half. And just talking a lot of shit about you and you talking a lot of shit about him. Hopefully it's stable, huh, big guy? As in, like, you know, the common ground beneath us. And you think your wife, and to think your wife is fat too. A man that truly has it all. And again, I would not have brought his wife into it if months earlier they didn't take my girlfriend's job and attach her and me to communist sweat labor in China because she works for a fast fashion company. All the while, he's wearing a pair of fucking Nikes. Do you see the double standard? It's really easy to see. So I screenshot his fat ass from his YouTube channel and I put his name on there, Mike Boyle, UAP Mike, so everybody knows who he is. Because he loves doxing people, but fuck, God forbid if he get a little taste of his own fucking tactics. and this is not even a legitimate dox. It's from his public YouTube channel. Okay. And he's going to yell and scream, well, your girlfriend who has nothing to do with UFO Twitter, who's never held a space with me, who's never fucking done anything in this fucking arena of bullshit. You went to her. You brought her into it first. You and your stupid fucking wife. So I screenshot this. I put double chin with a little arrow pointing to his double chin, like fat guys have, just like me. And then his man boobs, which fat guys have. Well, hey, look, just like me. So I'm making fun of myself and him and his wife in this. But it's a one-line thing with his wife, okay? And that was me being reserved on Cosmic Dahlia. Again, let's take a look at the work of Cosmic Dahlia. And also keep in mind, this is not, okay, the first time. It's just not. And I'd love to verify that, but Mike has deleted his fucking account. He deleted his account. And I'm sure Cosmic Dahlia has been scrubbing a lot of the shit that she's been posting because they have to make sure now when they're in spaces that people can't look up their shit and cross-reference the claims that he's talking about. Like, for example, I told everybody it was fucked up to call CPS on Ocean. I was the only one who spoke up, but yet hung around in the same group of people for 2 years until they turned their back on him. And then conveniently now, he's a champion for Ocean and nobody should have called CPS when for 2 years he was laughing his fucking ass off about it. And memes like this are not only made about me, but a lot of other people. Okay. So I took this picture a long time ago of myself. This is when I was single. Okay. And I had lost a ton of weight. I was feeling myself, right? Okay, you ever get those moments? And for the first time in my fucking Instagram ever, any sort of social media, I took a picture of my body and I posted it. And it was a response to one of my comedian friends who's a really big star. His name's Drew Tarver. Yeah, you know, I was really proud of the weight I had lost. I was really proud of it. So I posted it on Instagram. And this was a very, like, brave moment for me. And look, this is public. So this is fair game. I'm not mad about me. Right? Like, Again, I could handle fat jokes. Like they put cookies on the bed, some fucking stain on my underwear, crumbs on the other side, you know, fucking container of sauce. And then they took my girlfriend's picture and put her in front of me. And this is what Cosmic Dahlia wrote about someone who has nothing to do with this topic. All they're trying to do is hurt me. And thank you, UFO John Doe, for the $1.99 super chat. Are you sharing screenshots? Not yet. Not yet. We're going to get there in a couple minutes. I have to preface. Oh, sorry. I should probably switch to this. Thank you, guys. Sorry. Let me do this real quick. Sorry, guys. I'm exhausted, so my brain is kind of fried today. So this is the first picture, okay? And let me just go back to, you know, because you guys didn't see the picture that I had made. Okay, so I just want to be fair. This is the picture I made of Mike Boyle. Okay, again, months and months and months of him making fun of my weight led to this, to me making this, making fun of myself, him, and his terrible wife. So flash forward, well, that's the fucking worst one. That's like the fucking really bad one. So this is what Cosmic Dahlia, again, writes about my fucking girlfriend after taking her pictures off of her profile and or my profile, who really she doesn't have a YouTube channel. She doesn't do anything with her face on it in social media. She's not a public figure whatsoever. She's just a normal person, and I happen to be her boyfriend. But instead of going after me because they're unoriginal and they're fucking stupid and they can't come up with good content on their own, they go after my girlfriend. Like, this fucking hurts me. And so when I respond the way I respond, now you understand. She writes, is it true that Michelle runs a feeder fetish OnlyFans with Lou Angeles? She writes, hashtag OnlyFans, hashtag OnlyFans free, hashtag OnlyFans promo, hashtag feeder, hashtag fetish, hashtag corpulent couple, hashtag my lover is witness. Again, those are the t-shirts they bought and wore and laughed at with Fettuccine Split, that my lover is a witness. And she highlights it was the day after I made this. You tell me, which one's worse? But this is not even the worst one. No, they weren't done. Yeah, they made another one the same day. Michelle, your wife, has zero standards at home, considering she's with you and abroad. Look at her, so proud to be exploiting child labor. Good luck on you guys. I'm letting you know that I will not be quiet anymore about being harassed by you. Peace, Lou Angeles. I wonder where Cosmic Dahlia works. I wonder who she works for. I wonder where she buys her clothes. Do you have an Apple computer? Do you have a microwave? Do you have shoes? Because all of the things you're wearing and all of the things that you're espousing here about child labor abroad, you wear and consume. So again, another fucking mootless point made by a complete fucking dummy. And again, attacking not me, my girlfriend, my future wife. She says I have zero standards at home. How does she know that? Has she ever been to our home? But that's not the worst one. It's not the worst one. So I make one meme, I make one meme And the next day they've got 3. This is the worst one. This is the one that makes me want to put hands on somebody. Does my meme come close to this? Have I ever put Cosmic Dahlia in a meme? Have I ever taken her picture and made her look like a fat fuck? Have I ever done anything like this with Mike previous to in the 2 years that he was harassing me and countless of other people? This makes me want to fucking hurt somebody. It really does. Like, those feelings crop up when I see this shit. And you guys are hanging out in spaces with these fucking people. You guys, oh, they throw a cool space. I'm sorry, but I can't fuck with you if you think these people are decent people or good people or well-intentioned people. This one says, how does it feel to know that your girl getting a train run on her is the only act of work anyone in that household is getting? And then it's a picture of my girlfriend, again, the same picture, in front of a group of 5 black men in their underwear. Again, this or this. You tell me which one's more unacceptable. And keep in mind, this isn't the first time. This was months and months and months of shit like this. So the first time I respond to it, this is what I get. And it's not even me. It's not directed at me. It's directed at someone who has nothing to do with this. The most beautiful soul I've ever met in my fucking life. You have no idea how hard that girl works. She would run fucking circles around both of you losers. I'm going to take my time with this episode today. As you notice, I'm not yelling. I got all that out. This is going to be a calm presentation of fucking psychopaths. And I'm telling you, one day, this dumb bitch is going to make a meme like this and send it to the wrong fucking person. And there's going to be problems. Almost everything I've predicted in this community has come true. Every single thing. This is the most angry I've ever been. And that's what they wanted. That's what they wanted. That was the emotion they wanted to elicit. Gloves are off. Gloves are absolutely off. Forever. There is no forgiveness for this. Put me in front of this and I laugh at it. If that was my picture, okay. Sure. No problem. Make fun of me as much as you want. I can handle it. But when she sees stuff like this, and when she sees that you found out where she works in posts like this, that scares her. Legitimately scares her. And we've had arguments about it. I don't like to live in fear. That's why I came back. I'm not afraid of you motherfuckers. But I also have to consider her. And when you're looking up where she works and you're using that against her, and then you cry, "Ooh, you're doxing me because you showed everybody my YouTube channel," it's nowhere near the fucking same. It's not even fucking close. Oh. When you get Mike in these spaces, he can't answer any fucking questions. It's always what, how? He'll repeat your question 15 times before he answers it, because there are no good answers to the questions you ask this guy. Let me check something here real quick. Just want to check some messages without accidentally revealing private information, because we know how that goes in this fucking community. All right. Let us continue, I guess. So yeah, that's UAP Mike. And then here you got Ocean defending him, because it was Darren Reed that called CPS on her children, right? But what she doesn't understand is that the guy she's retweeting was part of that. He was 100% part of that. And the proof is in the pudding. Oh, where's the pudding, you ask? Let's get to it. Let's get to it right now. Let me do this here real quick, guys. I'm going to turn this on. Shut this one off. Oh, wait. Shut this one off. There we go. Okay, so again, this is a video. I did a screen recording. I'm not here. This isn't happening. Thank you for the $10 donation. The banner in the background at the workhouse reads, "Work will set you free," used by the Nazis outside of some concentration camps. Why did she use that phrase? I didn't even notice that. Let's take a look at that real quick. I mean, you know, let's take a look at that real quick, because I did not notice that. Shein, where work sets you free. As if she's the CEO of Shein. As if she has any control about the minutia of capitalism. Again, where did you tweet this from? Your fucking iPhone that's made in China? Or was it an Android made in China by these very same workers? These are the kind of arguments and bullshit they put out there. But yeah, just even more disgusting, like, again, that it's my girlfriend and not me. Okay, so here we've got the screen recording of my messages with Leah Prime. Okay, now the reason why I'm showing these again is because I have been accused of coordinating with Leah Prime. I think with a lot of people that you come across with in this community, when you're friends, when you start off as friends, and I think anybody can vouch for shit like this. You start off as friends and you get this, you build a camaraderie, and at some point you start being attacked by people. And that becomes a source of common ground. And so when, and again, this timeline will pop up in these set of messages, but when we did our last interview with Lou Elizondo, and the entire community got immensely pissed off with us because we asked them about his sock puppet accounts. They got angry at us for him having sock puppet accounts. Go figure. As soon as that happened, that's when the spear came out. And that's when UAP Mike, Dahlia, Darren, King Milk Fart, Fettuccine Split, all of the people that have been in these spaces and that have been accused and shown to be doxers, harassers, liars, shitsters, they attacked me for months. Okay. Then I did the Big Phone Home 3, and then they really ramped it up after that, because once the Big Phone Home 3 was over, I had a very, that's when I knew I would, okay, this show's going to end, was literally as soon as I ended the Big Phone Home 3. Because I saw that was a really good barometer for me as to who in the community is in this for the right reasons and who in the community is here to push propaganda, sell a podcast, not rock the boat, not ask any good questions, not even raise an eyebrow when people get manipulated, doxed, fucking messages, blackmailed, sock puppet accounts. Don't give a shit about that, right? Like, that shit doesn't matter. It gave me a really good idea as to who's in this for the right reasons. And so the day after the Big Phone Home 3, I did a show where I called out all of the people that call themselves UAP activists, all of the people that attacked our show subtly and through silence and just straight up out in the open. You had, quote, 365-day a year UAP activists that didn't show up for the biggest UAP political event online. They didn't talk about it. They didn't tweet. And that's fine. You don't have to. But you can't say you are 365-day a year activists and do no activism ever. Ever. And that quote came from Dan Zetterstrom. And that was backed by Andy McGrillen from that UFO podcast. So I called all of them out. And in this time, this is where I started having a relationship with Leah. But before that happened, I knew Tupa Cabra. He was on the Big Phone Home 3. And after that show that I did calling everybody out, he held a lot of spaces. After I just promoted his fucking website, his timeline that he was working on, the work that he was, bringing to the table. I highlighted that at the Big Phone Home 3 for him. And then that ended. I did the show where I called everybody out, and then he would hold spaces. He would send me messages like, yeah, buddy, I got your back. You're the best. Stuff like that, like you shouldn't be harassed, publicly defending me in a tweet. Okay. And then turn around and do a fucking 15-hour space where everybody in the space was doing nothing but bashing me for 15 straight fucking hours. I know this because I listened to some of these things. And I would listen to Tupa Cabra be silent, agree, laugh, but never defend. Never, ever defend me. And to me, it showed me very clearly that he's a two-faced piece of shit. Depending on who he's in front of, depends on the answer he will give you. And I called him out on that. big time. Before I knew about the Discord messages, before any of that stuff, I was calling Tupa out. I thought it was ridiculous that he was doing 23-hour spaces. To me, that is cult. That screams cult. And I don't want cults in this discussion. You know, I would look at his profile name, Tupa, as in Tupac Shakur. He took the image of Tupac Shakur, slapped some alien eyes on it in a beanie, changed the color, and boom. He stole the image of one of the greatest rappers of all time to sell t-shirts. That bothered me. Like, it just didn't rub me the right way. And I'm allowed to be bothered by shit like that. You know, people say, oh, well, you slap your face on Burt Reynolds. Yeah, I do. But I don't sell fucking shirts. And that's not my profile fucking picture. You know, like I'm not making money off of that. That's just for fun. That's for design and marketing. I'm a big Burt Reynolds fan. Just like I'm sure you're a big Tupa fan. But I would never put that image on a fucking shirt because, number one, it's illegal. I can't do that. But he didn't care. He opened the store. I even asked him, I'm like, dude, how do you get away with that? Like, have you not been hit by any sort of like copyright or somebody from the estate going like, you can't use that image? The fuck? He's like, nah, better ask for forgiveness than ask for permission kind of thing. He didn't give a fuck. And so stuff like that rubbed me the wrong way, and I'd call him out publicly on it. And of course, he didn't like it. And then he would host more spaces and talk more shit about me. So I didn't have a lot of love for Tupa, especially after the Big Phone Home 3. And again, these messages will make what I'm telling you 100% crystal clear. But I just want to preface everything that you're about to see with what I went through and why I was giddy and sort of shocked and laughing at the things that I was being sent. And that's a thing with this community. When you're in a group of people where you agree and people fuck with your group, sometimes you'll get messages, random, not solicited messages about people. I get them all the time. So when I got this unsolicited message from Leah Prime, it shocked the absolute shit. You will see how shocked I was. So I wanted to preface with that. So let's go through it. The only mistake I made here is this first picture, and I'm going to read it from my actual phone because I can't zoom in on it. The other pictures in this, I zoom in on, so I don't have to do this for the other pictures. So there's no shady shit going on here. I just, let me see here. Okay, there we go. Oh, stop. Okay. Come on. All right. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second here. Okay. So, okay. The black lettering is Leah reaching out to me. Okay. So I think we had a phone call or we had a space, either a Discord space or something. At the time, I had a lot of UCR Discord spaces, but they were public. Nothing was private. We had, she had been a guest on the show a few times, but this is the first time we text over the phone. And then either we had a phone call, a conversation. I don't think we had a phone call conversation before this text. I think phone calls came after it, but honestly, this was December 18th, 2022. All right. So this was 2 years ago. So I'm not sure what came first, but if I had to lean, I think the text came first. I gave her my number and either after a show or whatever, just being friendly, her being on my show, stuff like that, just normal, cordial human interactions. And this is the first text message I get from her. Okay. It says, just FYI, I knew it happened with Ben before our call. Ben, as in Ben from that UFO podcast. This was, we had found out what Ben told me and Joe told me that they, you know, I had I had conversations with Ben and Joe and warned them about Chupacabra, and they were reinforcing to me, no, he's a good guy. He's a good guy, man. He's a good guy. Like, yeah, we gave him a hard drive. He's editing our movie for us. Like, he's doing a whole bunch of work. And I was like, okay, man, but just be careful, because the things I'm seeing, I'm not seeing great things. Like his behavior in spaces, the things he says about me, I'm just telling you, he's two-faced. He's got two faces, man. So just be careful with your footage. Flash forward to around this time, December 18th, and I get a call. I'm on the phone call again with Ben, and he's telling me now that they're kind of worried because it's been months and they haven't heard anything from Tupa, and they've been messaging kind of back and forth, like being like, hey man, can we just get our hard drive back, kind of keep the money, but like we just want to see the work that you've done. We want to see what's going on. And nothing had been done. Nothing had been done on this hard drive. If very little work. And now we can confirm that Tupa does stuff like this, because just this last weekend, he got fired from Drama Alert / Skyfire News / Keemstar for not being fast enough at editing. He lied on his fucking resume. He doesn't know how to edit quickly. When you're a professional editor, man, you need to pump shit out quick. You can't lie about that on a fucking resume, because you'll get fired in the first month. And that's exactly what happened. He didn't get the jokes. His boss would ask him for graphics that would take him days to produce, and he'd have to ask multiple times. So he fired him publicly during a stream yesterday. So this proves that I was telling the truth about the lack of work that happened with the UFO Garage guys and Chupacabra. So that was something that I knew about before the fucking Discord messages. And here is proof of it. I knew what happened with Ben before our call. Okay, so we did have a call before this. There you go. We had to have been talking about Ben from that UFO Garage, because she called me. I think, yeah, here's what happened. She calls me and she goes, hey, what have you heard about Chupacabra? And I tell her about the spaces, everything I just told you guys. And then I tell her the story about the UFO Garage guys, how they haven't seen their hard drive in a while and what the fuck's going on. And like, I think he's shady as shit. That's what I'm relaying to her. Okay, because she's asking me about him. Who is this guy, right? It wasn't me passing info you shared. Okay, let me just start from here. Just FYI, I knew that happened with Ben before our call and had told KMF a few days ago. So she told KMF, and this should have been my first red flag. But the reason why it wasn't is because when I would ask Leah about, well, what's your relationship with King Milkfart? And her response to that was, well, he simps for me. So it's kind of like a keep your enemies or your friends close, enemies closer kind of thing, is the way she described it. You know, like, hey, I'm going to take advantage of this while I can, basically. I mean, it should have been a red flag for me. It's one I missed. But it didn't really hit until you'll see 5 months later why. I wanted to run this because I never want to violate your trust. So this message right here, okay, that's kind of blurry, and I can't zoom in on. Say it's from King Milkfart, and it says, like the UFO Garage guys took their cash, never did the project, never returned the materials, or so I've heard. Would make a nice little piece of investigative journalism. I don't care about the dude personally, but this shit kind of ruins the party for everyone. So King Milfart had also heard these rumors, and she's telling me that he heard those rumors. She writes back to him, he's a smooth talker, but a bad con man. Your head is exactly where mine is too. I don't give a fuck about Tupa or Sam or whatever. I don't want people with genuine good intentions within the community being conned by people like that. And I think that was kind of the mindset for people who were really paying attention to Tupa Cabra. They're like, this guy's starting a fucking cult. Like, what the fuck is this guy doing? It is the things that he talks about, the way he talks about them. And again, the two-facedness of his conversations, especially when it comes to people talking shit about his, quote, friends. So along with the stealing of the imaging of Tupac Shakur, along with the stories people that are circulating now about him taking a hard drive, taking $2,000 cash from the UFO garage guys and not doing the work. And now that's confirmed here 2.5 years later by him getting fired from an editing position at his conspiracy theory job. I got to run back to work right now. Thank you for the info. We'll definitely be looking more into this and talk soon, to which he gives a thumbs up. He writes back, no sweat. It's never personal with me. It's always just in service of integrity. Fuck you, King Milfart. That is the biggest fucking lie ever. But she hearted it. Like these things, these are the things that honestly, it's on me. I should have paid a little bit better attention to this exchange. But then I started seeing obviously more exchanges like this, not only privately, but publicly. And then I saw a picture of her at a UFO con in a group hug with him. And when I saw that, that's when shit started changing for me on Leah Prime. That's when I knew I couldn't trust her. But we're going to get there. We're going to get there, okay? So now we know what this message here says. So let's continue through this. Okay, so she sends me this screenshot and writes, I heard about 2 weeks ago from another person what we talked about stays between us. So she heard from another person, King Milfart. And I write back to her, no worries. I figured more people than me knew, but KMF is also a fucking psychopath. Be careful. Like, I'm telling you, be careful with him. You're getting this info, but just fucking watch out, because this mouth will bite you. And she writes in all caps, he really is. Okay? So these are the kind of like assurances that I'm getting from her. That she does not like this person, but is kind of using him like a useful idiot. And again, with all of this stuff prefaced that I just told you about Tupa Cabra, I was like, well, I can't stop this, you know, like these are the rumors that are circulating about him because that's what people are saying about him. I can't stop that. I can't. And when people ask me about him, I'm going to tell the truth about what I know. She continues, I don't ever want to be in the line of fire with him, but don't tangle with him. This outreach was prompted by Tupa starting shit with another group chat. So she's telling me like, you know, yeah, definitely. He's a fucking psychopath. Be careful. And also just for you to know, don't tangle with him. This outreach, this picture that I'm sending you is prompted by Tupa starting some shit. Okay, so she's upset with Tupa, and that's why, again, they're communicating. Like, when you're being an asshole in the community, it shouldn't be shocking when people start, like, wanting to know a little bit more about you. And what are your intentions and your motivations? That's human nature. Complizzier, thank you so much. Foo! Those nasty, angry, hateful, nutty nut motherfuckers like people. Thank you, Blizzard. You're always funny, man. Thank you. And then she continues. Tupa starting shit in another all caps group chat. Middle school shit drama, she writes. And then I write back to her, I've tangled many times with that asshole. he's been a maniac for the last 5 months towards me. I know more about him than he knows. He's a simp, right? So I knew at that time, I knew he was a plumber. I'd heard he was a plumber. And I had heard that he lived in Wisconsin. Those were like the two things I had heard. I can't remember who the fuck told me. Like this, again, I'm not doing investigative fucking journalism digging on this guy. Like, people solicit this information to me. I write about King Milfart, he's a simp. And then she writes back, people don't act like the way he does or Tupa does unless they've got a whole lot of shit going on behind the scenes. So she's sitting here and comparing him to Tupa Cabra, and King Milfart are the same to her. And I'm like, damn, like, this is, again, I'm taking her at her word. There have been no red flags yet as far as this person is trying to take advantage of me or get information on me. Like, she's asking me questions about other people because she knows that I've spoken to everyone in this community. To which I write, she goes, okay, so a whole lot of shit going on behind the scenes and not good shit, bad shit. To which I write, yeah, in the case of Milfart, he hasn't been laid, maybe ever. He still lives with his mom and he works in the sewer systems in Wisconsin. That is his actual job. Like, I knew he was a plumber, but what we later found out is that he's a plumber for his mommy in Massachusetts. He's a plumber for mommy in Massachusetts. Probably lives at home as well. And it explains a lot of his incel behavior and why he's so fucking angry at everything. Because he's never lived away from mommy ever in his fucking life. The world is a little too scary for King Milfart, but not Twitter. Oh boy, he's the fucking king here. Then I continue. They have the same scary behavior as UAP Mike and Chris Wolford. So here is another confirmation from last year where I was thinking UAP Mike was a fucking psycho. Why? Because he was. And it wasn't just UAP Mike. It was his wife too. Again, this is from December 28th of 2022. So at least 2 years of harassment from UAP Mike. And the first meme I make of him is this. Right? Let me see. Where is it? Nope, not that one. That one. First meme I make of him is this. In 2 years, after all the fat jokes, after all the harassment, after everything, I think I'm owed this. I think I'm owed this meme. Okay, I think I'm owed telling people that he has a fucking YouTube channel. I've been given the fucking slip, the pass, because compared, and I said this last night, like, if my interactions with Leah, let's just say, is a comic book, this guy's interactions with King Milfart is fucking War and Peace. It is a fucking never-ending novel. And he wants to point to these messages as a smoking gun. Well, that's why I'm showing all the messages unedited in the way they came in from beginning to end. So that way there's no more fucking questions about this. I'm sure there will be from Mike and Tupa and Red Panda. They will have all sorts of bullshit and lies and bad, really, really bad arguments. I listened to their stream last night while they were watching my stream, and the points I was making, man, they were fucking silent. They didn't say anything against the points I was making. They would just stop the video and start ranting about how I picked on them. Again, I've showed you here already that there is a prerequisite of harassment and bullshit from both of these guys first, because I did the thing that they could not abide by. Telling the truth. They didn't fucking like it. And they knew that everybody else who didn't like it was more clicks, more people in the space, more drumming up of hatred for me. And here are the fucking receipts. I've got the fucking receipts. And then she writes back, okay, to I think he lives in Wisconsin and he's a plumber. She writes back, he lives in Massachusetts near Northampton/Amherst. And all of this stuff has come out. And I'm not the one who put it out there. Okay, but when you treat people like the way this guy's been treated, again, don't be surprised when people look into who you fucking are, especially when you are attaching child abuse to other people, when you're attaching sexual crimes to people who have the same name as a person who committed sexual predator behavior. And because you have the same name as that person and you live in the same state, he'll use that person and attach it to you. Like, that's the kind of shit King Milkfart does. His account has been deactivated 20 or 30 times. Twitter has fucking completely gotten rid of him, and he comes back every time because I think he uses some kind of emulator or some shit to create a new account every time it gets deleted, because he's violated community rules so many fucking times. So I don't feel sorry when people look up information on him and find out that mommy pays his fucking bills. And I'm the loser. I'm the failure. Fuck, buddy. You guys need to look in the fucking mirror, because as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to the UFO community, I ran the most successful political grassroots effort to ever exist. Ever. I'd say that's pretty fucking successful. And then when you look at my IMDb, I have over 30 acting credits in Hollywood on major television shows, films, commercials. So I've been pretty successful there too. I've worked in the finest restaurants for the best chefs in Los Angeles. Everything I put my effort and heart into, things materialize from them, because I put genuine care into the things that I do. Because I've said on this show before, I believe as an agnostic that God is in the details of the things that you do. But just because I believe that doesn't mean I'm going to sit around and take shit like this. Or this. Or this. I'm not going to so if you're wondering why I'm lashing out, if you're wondering why I've done a 180 on this community, UAP Mike is a big reason for that. And there are a lot of people who have left this community because of UAP Mike and because of Dahlia. That's just fucking facts. So let's continue, huh? She then writes, after she tells me where he fucking lives, again, unsolicited. She writes, but yeah, he has a big 4chan Kekistan energy. So 4chan. No surprise there. And then she responds to UAP Mike is legit is a legit terrifying person, unhinged. I've never talked to the dude and have zero inclination to ever do so. I don't have to be on the same team as Leah to agree with that. I don't have to be working and colluding with Leah to agree with that statement. I think there are a lot of people in this community that would say the exact same thing, that UAP Mike / UFO late group, because he deleted his UAP Mike account because he wants to hide all of the terrible shit that he's been doing for over 2 fucking years. There's no good answer for that when you ask him that question. I've never talked to the dude and have zero inclination to ever do so. I wrote, keep away from all of them. I mean, again, I'm telling her, do not, like, you're playing with fucking fire. I'm trying to give her advice to just fucking stop. It's right there in blue and white. Motherfucker is the only one I've talked to about Sam. I hear you loud and clear. I don't know what she means by that. MF is the only, Milk Fart is the only one I've talked to about Sam. Again, that should have been, I didn't even, I like it, even now as I read, I'm like, what is MF? Oh. But I hear you loud and clear. Again, this should have been another, like, this exchange right here should have been like, dude, something's not right. Something's not right. Why, like, you're the only one you've talked to about Sam? No, that's not true. We've been talking about him. And Sam is Tupa, by the way. And I wrote back to her, they're two sides to the same coin. Again, like, I'm telling her they're the same. And you're kind of aligning yourself with the thing that you hate. That's what that means. And she writes 1,000%. So she agrees with that statement. Thanks for watching out for me, man. You got me into this whole wild and sane community, and your views and guidance are really appreciated. I can't tell you how many times people said that to me before they hated me. And I wrote back to her, you're way smarter than me. All I ask is for you to speak up when you see it. And that was my thing. Like, if you're going to be my friend, I don't want to see you in another spot of this fucking mosh pit putting fucking knives and needles into a voodoo doll, because you thought I was on the other side of the mosh pit, when really I was listening and watching the whole fucking time. And I would notice in these moments, not this moment, but in somewhere in this timeline, I would start to notice the red flags for me really is when I saw her liking King Milk Fart things. And I'm like, oh, dude, what the fuck? Like, why is she liking his shit? It was confusing. I didn't like it, like, straight up. And you'll see, it doesn't take me long to fucking figure this out. It took 5 months. But I think it takes me, you know what? It always takes me a long time to confirm who somebody is. It takes me a long time because I give them the opportunity to fuck up. Let's see how far they go before they do something that makes me distrust them. I hope you speak up when you see it. And she writes, I am. And I hearted that. And then she writes, approaching it like Hunter S. Thompson and the Hells Angels. So she is kind of pitching me as like she's Hunter S. Thompson doing undercover work inside the Hells Angels. And honestly, for as smart as she was, there's no one who can sit here and say that this woman is not intelligent. And so when she says something like this to me, I'm like, be careful. Like, but okay, I can't stop her. I can't stop her from trying to find information about King Milk Fart and Sam. I've already warned her, right? But when I saw the Hunter S. Thompson say, I was like, perfect. Like, okay, I see what you're going for. But again, I'd be fucking careful. Okay, so about 10 days later, December 27th, this is when shit starts getting really interesting. She writes, hey, Lewis, hope you had a nice Christmas. This is 2 days after Christmas. And wishing you a happy new year. Anyway, I got a present. It's kind of shitty, and I apologize for the language. It's just one of a very, very large set. And I ask that you keep this between us for right now. And this is where I get the first... Let me see if I should... Oh, did I not zoom in on it? Oh, shit, I thought I did. Okay, this is where I get the first... You guys can see it on your screens pretty much. I'm not lying here. This is the first screenshot that I saw that she sent from this Tupa Discord that was public. Chupacabra writes here, the explaining that he's sad because he's a tranny F word, but he's the only tranny F word because he's sad. The cycle of FAGGOTRY. Okay, like, this is the first time I've seen this, and that's the first sentence out of the fucking gate. And then you see beneath that, Crayola writes, it's an oddly specific insult. A deleted user follows up with, someone called him that, I guess, or it was about that band dude. And he writes, the cycle needs to end. Now, if you go back and you look at specifically the context for this one, this was Sam's attempt, and I didn't know at the time. This was Sam, Tupacabra's attempt to console somebody who was being... I don't know. I don't have the text in front of me, but I do know that this particular set of messages has a context to it where, and a few people have confirmed this for me, where he was writing this in support of someone, you know, and then when he says here, the cycle needs to end, I think he means this cycle. But that's not the text messages that I genuinely have issues with. There's way more. Okay. But again, this is the first time I've seen this. Okay. And she writes, I love working with digital artifacts and look forward to when I can show you the whole collection. Oh, there's more? This guy that's been talking all this shit about me and fucking laughing at me in spaces for the last 5 fucking months. That guy? Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. When I was like, took a little bit of joy in it. I did. But put yourself in my shoes. Like, why should I have any empathy for this guy here? This is not his grandmother's house information. This is not his family's information. This is the first fucking screenshot of his Discord. I write back to her, holy shit. That's it. Holy shit. I was genuinely shocked by this. I knew I didn't like Sam, but I never thought for 1 second that this was possible from him. I really didn't. And then she writes, this isn't even the bad one. I mean, it's a very bad one, but it's not as bad as a lot of them. I think they look good displayed on a timeline or something. Just a thought. And I was like, fuck me. And then she sends another one. This is the one that doesn't have good context. This is the one that we talked about on my show, I think last week, if not the week before. And that is the thought process of Chupacabra says in this Discord, slavery was a choice. And then somebody chimes in beneath him, Kanye. Now, at the time, I didn't know that the slavery was a choice was a Kanye, something that Kanye said. But it is. But at the time, I had no clue. I didn't know what that meant. I just saw that first line. Slavery was a fucking choice. Okay, can you elaborate? And then he goes on, Americans have nothing to atone for. Blacks fucked up. America fucked up. Someone writes back to him, Berlinghoff Rasmussen writes, why are you spewing this bizarre bullshit? So he writes, it's not bullshit. You have to really think about it before you react emotionally to the information. This was fucking shocking at the time. Like jaw-dropping. And then she writes, okay, one more. What's a couple screenshots between friends? And I write to her, where is this from? ? Discord ? She writes back r/UFO Discord, which is a public Discord. He never took these messages down. This was at the height of Trump and COVID, and he leans. And there's other rantings about him and Trump. He really liked Trump at one point. Hardcore Trumper, which is whatever, man. I'm not going to judge your whole fucking existence off who you vote for president. But when it's kind of doubled down with comments like this, it's like, okay, weird. Okay. And again, like, there are messages that we're going to get to here between me and Sam discussing these very things. Okay, we're going to get there. So I'll give you the context on these things, on these discussions real soon. He deleted his account earlier this year when he decided to be Mr. Reasonable to sell $45 t-shirts with Procreate tracings of Eric Davis. Again, like, these are just one of the things that was rubbing people the wrong way. He was taking Eric Davis's photo. He was taking Bob Lazar's photo. He was taking all of these, like, iconic people within the community and putting them on t-shirts without anyone's permission. I'm sorry, that rubs people the wrong fucking way, especially other artists that are trying to make merch stores and shit like that. And they're coming up with original designs and they're like, fuck, I can't compete with fucking Bob Lazar in a t-shirt, you know, like, yeah, that shirt's way cooler than what I'm making, you know? It's like, but he didn't give a shit. You know, he didn't care. He doesn't care about the you know, getting permission of, you know, the artist to use their likeness. He doesn't care about that. So she said that he deleted his account this year when he decided to be Mr. Reasonable to sell $45 t-shirts. So I guess at the time he had deleted the account from the Discord, but if you go back there now, it's not deleted. His comments are still there. If you go to RUFOs and just type in NIGER, you'll find it. And I wrote, fuck me. I never expected, in all caps, this. And she writes back, it's not good, dude. Like, really, really not good. And again, like, there hasn't been a good display of her being untrustworthy yet. For me, anyway. So I write in all caps. So when is this dropping? Like, I'm dying to know when people are going to figure out about this, right? And she writes, there's probably 500 plus, all like what I sent you. 500 images she was claiming at the time of stuff like that. That's plus the financial grift. That's like the icing on the cake. So she responds to, when is this dropping? Probably next week. Okay, so again, this is December 27th. Okay, she says it's going to drop next week. And she goes, I'm on a retreat right now, and I need to order and contextualize the hundreds of receipts I've got. Hundreds. Good shit, though, right? And I was like, how did you find these? LOL. Like, I'm like, how the fuck did you find this? Again, I didn't help look for these. I didn't help dox anybody. I'm getting the information and I'm fucking flabbergasted by it. She writes then, I would appreciate if you kept this hush hush until I've done some organization and I'm ready to push it live. Which tells me she's building a timeline of some kind for a website. But I wasn't kidding when I said it's bad with a fucking skull. And I write in all caps, fuck me. To which she sends a laughing emoji sweating, you know, like, fuck, I know. And so when she responds to how did you find these, she writes, I asked the right questions to the right people at the right time. This is where I think she starts to become really full of shit. No, the real answer is he's not a smart guy on Discord, and messages don't disappear when you leave a server. There you go. So I didn't know that about Discord, or I obviously I did at the time. I just didn't remember that. So if that's why the messages are still up there, you know, that, you know, because Sam lies all the time. He's like, I left the messages up there. I left them up there. But she, according to her anyway, that, you know, if the messages don't disappear when you leave the server, which is true because the deleted user was commenting to him, the person who left, but the comment was still there. But I'm interested to know, like, if that's accurate. That could be wrong. I don't know. Again, I don't fuck with Discord too much. And she writes, not exactly elite hacking. And I wrote back to her. I'm like, wow, nice work. I can't wait to see this one drop. Like, I can't. After all the abuse that I've suffered from that motherfucker, like, yeah. And the backstabbing that he did with the UFO garage guys, who were my friends. Why would I give a fuck about this? Honestly. Like, why would I give a shit? And let me check something here real quick on Twitter, because after this message, because this is a real sticking point for Mike. So this is when I find out, right? Let me see if I can find the text I sent out after this went down. Oh, wait. Sorry, guys. Give me a moment. I'm just looking this up. I think it's important that I find this. I'm trying to remember what I said in that text. It was something along the lines of, like, someone's going to have a bad week. You know what? Maybe a bad day. Let me look it up this way. Sorry, guys. I know this is taking a second, and this is kind of stop the show, but I promise it'll be worth it. What the hell, man? Where the heck is it? Shit, I can't find it. I want to find this because I think it's important, because I sent out one text and it basically just, like, paraphrasing here, but it was something along the lines of a UFO celebrity. It's some big news coming out about a UFO celebrity that's going to, like, blow everybody's minds or something like that. Let me try that. I'm not gonna waste any more time finding it, but yeah, it was one text, basically one tweet that was kind of just telling the community, hey, get ready, this week is gonna be crazy. Okay. And that tweet is always used by UAP Mike / UAP UFO Lake Group. It's always used, that one tweet, as proof that I was working with Leah, that I knew about all of this stuff that was coming and that I helped dig it up, and I was working hand in hand with her, when all I was doing was going, holy shit, that's crazy information. Well, I can't stop you from fucking putting it out there. And at one point I'm even like, look, if you want me to do it, I'll do it. It's a public Discord. I got no problem like fucking sharing this, like, again, with all the bullshit that this guy's done, no issues whatsoever. But she did take me up on that. She actually moved past it, but we'll get there in a second. Let's see here. Okay, so I don't have to be smart, just a little smarter. Okay, yeah, so I write, wow, nice work. I can't wait to see this one drop. I don't have to be smart. I just have to be a little smarter than someone stupid. I write, I'll definitely be talking about it on my show. She writes back, I think a whole lot of people are going to be talking about it. I'm not going to editorialize or anything, just provide the receipts and link them together with a chronology. They speak for themselves. Isn't he a person of color, I wrote? That's the most wild part. Like, to me, that was the most wild part. Like, a person of color saying this absolute wild shit. And then she writes back, also, for what it's worth, I hate doing this shit. It kind of feels ugly and mean and kind of violent, but I'll get my hands dirty if it means getting this kind of cancer out of my sphere. And I wrote, if you don't want to, I can always do it. Like, fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. Like, seriously. And then she sends me oh man, yeah, that's where I started zooming in on the messages. So she sends me the message where Tupa says, if you say the N-word really loud, like something along the lines of like, blacks really respond to that kind of thing. Right. And then she wrote, yes, fuck that guy, right underneath that message. So she sends me another message of him saying something heinous. Okay. And then to my offer of like, hey, you want me to put it up? I don't mind. It's like, that guy's an asshole. He's been talking shit about all sorts of people. He basically starting a cult. Like, I'll do it. They're public. I'm not breaking the law when I do that. I'm just telling the community, hey, pay attention to this guy. Right. So she then writes, oh no, I'll do it. I can send it. Can I send it to you for a proof before I drop it publicly? And I'm like, please do. To which she sends me all of the messages from Tupa, which are right here. I'm not going to go and read them all. I mean, like, they're all fucking terrible. He's just, Trump is good. He's writing this one. It's odd. All it took to get labeled a hateful anti-Semite was the question of theory. And then Fjord writes back, because you need the wrongness of the conversation to be sloped in a certain direction. God's prophets and God are different things. Yeah, just like, I don't know. This one was weird. Nothing crazy in that one. So then, she gives me a salute. And again, I read through these and I'm just like, I just write back to her, just wow. Wow. It's not good, she writes. It's also very, very good, LMAO. Just to give you a heads up when you're going to, I said, just give me the heads up when you're going to drop it so I can have a show ready to go. And she goes, 100%, you got it. So that's all I wanted. I was like, because this was going to be big news. Like, this was going to be up, and it was big news when it dropped in the community anyway. And at the time, yeah, I wanted to cover it. I wanted the scoop on it because you punched me for 6 months and this is my opportunity to punch back and really make it hurt. So yeah, I didn't mind. I didn't mind, you know. But again, like, I had no control over it. She's the one who's like, no, I'm gonna do it. I'm like, okay, go for it. It's your research, you know. It's your baby. Do whatever you want with it. I'm not gonna stop you, because I know if it was me with those messages and you were showing him, he wouldn't stop you, for sure. She writes, YW, thank you. We'll, I don't know what YW means, but she says thank you. Whoa, seems our friend KMF has also, okay, so the very next day, the 28th of December. So here she is, she's telling me, oh, it's going to come out in a timeline. It's going to be on a website. There's going to be all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, cool. You know, release it whenever you want. She sends me a message the very next day that says, whoa, seems our friend KMF has also figured out the search function on Discord. Let the games begin. I don't think he figured out anything. I think she told him. She told him. She had the perfect person in place to do this, and it was him. Again, like, there's no messages here going like, hey, why don't you give it to King Milkfart? Nothing like that. Like, I'd never suggested King Milkfart in any of this. The only thing I suggested when it came to King Milkfart is stay the fuck away from that maniac. And that's clear as day. Let the games begin. And I write, fuck yes. Let the games begin, because this is going to be interesting to watch. It's going to be interesting to watch. He writes, incredible content, absolutely glorious. And writes, I pulled out of the 2 projects because of the association with Sam and shared those screenshots. I wrote, I also tweeted it. There's a lot more where this came from. And I write, this will change things. I like hoping, like, because at the time, I was like, this is, you know, again, looking at sort of what Sam was doing in the community. And, you know, I'm not the police of the community. I don't have any enforcement capability. All I can do is make suggestions. And if people want to follow those suggestions, great. If they don't, then there's nothing I can do, you know, but I choose to tell people, hey, I don't think Tupa is a good person. I think he's got 2 faces depending on who you're talking about. I think he lies and exaggerates about his work history. I know for sure he stole $2,000 from my friends. Right? Like, these are all the things that I have bottled up that I haven't even been able to speak about publicly because the UFO Garage guys didn't want to make me, like, have me make public noise about it because they didn't want Tupa to know that they were upset that they didn't have their hard drive and that they just lost $2,000. Because if they're like, look, we just want to get our hard drive back. We don't want to rock the boat. So please try not to say anything. But obviously King Milkfart knew about it. And that's not because I told him. So I write, this will change things. And then I follow up on the 28th. So the next day I wrote, because people were like, you know, they're like, oh, how do we know these are real? Like, these are not doctored, da, 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 da. And Ryan Sprague hits me up going, hey, is there a link where I could see these? And so I write, like, again, I didn't have a link to the server. I had to ask her for a link. So again, I'm not making the website. I don't even know where the fucking tweets are. I have no clue how to find them. I know they're on the Discord on the RUFOs, but I wouldn't know how to look. I honestly was fucking dumb, still dumb when it comes to Discord. Like, we have a Discord. It was started by Arden Paranormal. I think we'll put the link up if you'd like, Arden. Like, I'm rarely in there. So Sprague asked me, hey, where can I see this, man? Because I just want to verify this for myself before I cancel someone, essentially. Someone who I thought was a good dude. And so I write, hey, is there a link I can send to Ryan Sprague? He wants to confirm it's him. How can people confirm this? And then I wrote, never mind, I found it. You know, but she's responded anyway. Oh yeah, go on the RUFO Discord and search any of the keywords you see in the screenshots. Sorry, LOL, what I miss. So like, again, this shows like, I really didn't know how to use Discord. Like I was like, hey, can you send this to me? And it took her a while to answer. So I was just like, let me see if I can figure this out. I did. And boom, I sent it to him. She writes, sorry, LOL, what did I miss? And then I wrote, it's pretty quiet on the Tupa fan base. It's pretty quiet from the Tupa fan base. Not totally surprised. UFO rabbit hole is, quote, hurt by the revelations. And then I shared this, or she shared a Cosmic Judas meme of, it was taken down. I think I couldn't, when I clicked on it in the actual messages, I think Judas erased this one. But it was funny because it was the statue of Saddam Hussein with Tupa's head on it. And it, you know, it fell like as if this, like, again, this guy was a guru, you know, or at least selling himself as this love and light, peaceful guru guy. He's stealing $2,000 here. He's not fulfilling his commitments there. He's talking shit about me and my family and letting other people talk shit about me and my family and my motivations and who I am, while at the same time, you know, being like, hey, man, I publicly support you. Like, so even Cosmic Judas made a meme, like, of the downfall of this guy. Everybody who didn't like this guy or got that, was rubbed the wrong way by the things that I just explained. It was not just me. This was the community as a whole was fucking blown away by this. Everybody looked at these messages and a lot of people came to the conclusion, yeah, there's no context here worthy of excusing this stuff. And I'm going to prove that to you, that he meant what he said in those things. I'm going to prove it to you. She writes, LMAO, FAO, or LMAO, holy fuck, I'm going to come when the Judas meme comes out. And I just send laughing emojis to that. And I write, please still put out that timeline. Because I was like, I want to see all of these things in a timeline. And, you know, so that way there's no, you know, anytime this guy tries to pop back up, it's like, okay, boom, here's a link to the timeline and the things that he's done and said. You know, I was like, I think you should still put it up. So that way he can't come back and just do the exact same thing that he's actually done, that he's been successful at doing. I tell you, he could not have done it by himself. The only way Chupacabra slithers his way back into this community the way he has is with the help of Red Panda Koala. He does not become even more popular after this event without the help of Red Panda Koala spinning every single thing that he's done to muddy the waters on what actually happened. She writes, I really try to be evolved and obviously take my integrity and spirituality seriously, but I will happily accept the karmic accrual of laughing my ass off at this piece of shit's downfall. That's the way a lot of people felt, not just her. So, you know, I felt that way too. And so did Cosmic Judas, and so did Katie Howland, and so did fucking Ryan Sprague, and so did almost everybody in the community who actually looked at these things. It was so bad for Chupacabra that he had to do a space and sit there for fucking, I think it was 8, 9, 10 hours and just get railed by the community. Just fucking everybody yelling at him. And him sitting there and just, and here's what I respected about it. And you're going to see this in the messages that we had back and forth. Was he's actually owning this. He's actually getting on stage and accepting the full force of the anger from the community. I respected the fuck out of that. Genuinely respected that. I really, really did. Because, yeah, if that was me, if that was anybody else in society, I think 9 out of 10 people would have fucking just disappeared and just go away and never return. But not Tupa. Tupa stood up in front of everybody and said, yep, I said those things. Yes, I apologize, but I've changed. I've since then, I've been seeing a therapist and I've been really working on myself. So he admits that the things he said in this Discord were fucking hateful. And again, I'm going to prove it to you. This is full transparency time, again, from the only show that seems to do it. She then responds to, please still put this in a timeline with, you bet, boss. I already got tupacabra.com. So she'd already made the website. Again, without my help, Mike, without my coordination, without me introducing any new fucking pictures for people to take advantage of and put on a website. I am not doxing anybody here. I'm not asking for his address to be put out there, or his children, or his grandmother, or his family members. You will not find that in these messages because I don't do that kind of shit. But unlike UAP Mike, I will show you every fucking message that I have from people. Every single one. Ask Mike to do the same. Ask Mike to unlock his UAP Mike account and go through the messages with King Milkfart like I just did here. I dare him. I challenge him. And I challenge you, my audience, to challenge him to do that. And don't let him fucking come back until he does. He wants to be a real whistleblower. I mean, a real fucking whistleblower on the hatred that's been going on behind the scenes, considering he was the tip of the fucking spear. Unlock your account and share all of the messages that you had with these guys. If you were standing up and defending Ocean in these chat rooms, where are the pictures of that? Where are they? And again, I'm going to show you exactly when, around the time when that happened to Ocean. I've got 2 confirmations. One from Darren Reed, when he told me when he called CPS, and the date was in 2022. So this guy sat in this hate group for 2.5 years and said and did nothing publicly to help people like Ocean, to help people like B, to help people like me. He puts his hands up when it comes to the harassment and doxing of Tupacabra. It was him. He was in those servers. He was laughing at the grandma's house thing. Sam, not me. I wasn't doxing your fucking family. And again, we're going to get to some personal messages between me and Sam and see who Sam really is in these exchanges. So I respond to this tupacabra.com with nice. That's it. She sends me a quote from a Mark Ashley Wilson. And you know, I can't click it here. I don't think it's anything significant. It's just literally a tweet. But let's just look at it. So again, that way I'm not fucking accused of anything or hiding anything, or you know, like again, trying to be as fucking transparent as one can be. Okay. Yeah, let's go around the thumbnail. Man. Oh, there it is. Okay. So let me take a look at this tweet. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Here's the original tweet that I had. I wrote, a world of pain for a UFO personality within the next couple of weeks. A world of pain is coming for a UFO personality within the next couple of weeks. Get your popcorn. That's what I wrote. That's the tweet that Mike says was a campaign to dox Tupa. With one fucking tweet when I got that information. Okay, so yeah, it was a response to that. And there was a lot of comments to this. And so the response to this was somebody backpedaling to that fucking tweet that I put out. Okay, so let's continue. And then I wrote to that, yeah, the anger at me is hilarious. Like, I didn't say those things. I didn't do those things. Like, it's fucking laughable that people are getting mad at me. People are getting mad at me for the things that Tupa said. And then I write the next day on the 29th, I write, would you like to join this conversation? And I made this thumbnail and I was going to do this show, but I decided against it. And the reason why this show never went up is because of Tupacabra's lashing that he took publicly in those spaces. Again, I respected the fuck out of that. And in my opinion, that lashing was enough. I didn't need anything else past that. I thought he faced the music, and in that moment, I made this thumbnail planning a show called "You Found Out Your UFO Guru is Racist." Now what? Like, now what? I was gonna do this show. Here's the thumbnail to prove it. It's got Tupa's fucking most awful messages hits on the thumbnail. Okay? I never did this show. I looked at this thumbnail and I'm like, yeah, this ain't right. This doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right, especially after everything that's coming down on him. And this was before he was doxxed. This was before his grandmother's stuff. This was before any of those things. Any of those things. This was the 28th of December when I was going to do this show. Okay? And because of her answer, I think is part of the reason why I didn't do it. She goes, laughing my ass off. I'm literally at monastery meditating and working 18 hours a day. Keep my role in this on the DL until I'm actually in a place where I can participate. But I'll send you some screens. That guy Berlinghoff is a really good dude, by the way. And I wrote Berlinghoff ? And she writes, he was in the voice of reason and compassion over that server. So he was the guy that was questioning Tupa, like, what the fuck are you saying, kind of thing. And I was like, I didn't even, like, I wasn't focused on Berlinghoff and the other people. I was focused on what he was saying. Like, to me, it didn't matter. But she's like, keep my role out of this for right now. So basically she's giving me like, nah, I don't think I'm going to join that show. And because of these, I was like, you know what? I don't think I'm going to do this show either. I mean, I honestly, there was no point to it. At this point, it was genuinely piling on. He had no problem piling on me after my show got shut down. But do you see the difference here between me and Tupa? Like, I could have taken the opportunity to do and it would have been a gangbuster show. There would have been a lot of people in there. A lot of people. But I didn't do it. And yeah, you can go through my timeline now because these sets of shows, as you can see, it's got a Lou Reviews logo on it. This isn't a UCR show that I took down. So you go check my channel right now. You will not find this thumbnail. You will not find this video because it never existed. I never did it. And then she wrote, yeah, he shows up in a bunch of the screenshots. He's a serious, decent person and extended way too much patience and compassion with the shit being said. I just want to make sure there's no like collateral damage, to which I gave a thumbs up. And I wrote, trust me, nobody is seeing that tree in the forest. Like nobody's seeing the response. Like they're just looking at what this guy's writing. Okay, and there's more screenshots and like, yeah, you guys have seen all this. This one is interesting. I haven't read this one on the show. So he writes, Tupa in this Discord server, if you don't think David Icke is a prophet of God, you aren't paying attention. Hapston Ford writes, God as in the KJV Bible's God, King James Version. And he writes, reptilians rejoice whenever someone doubts Icke. Okay, so I'm literally incapable of taking what you're saying seriously now. I'm going to assume you're pulling my leg. He writes, Def, pulling your leg, but I really do love Icke and Jones, as in Alex Jones. And David Icke, all of his theories and research lead right back to Marina Seren and Nazism within the occult UFO discussion. There are clear ties to that shit. So if you're a big fan of David Icke and you're saying shit like this, you're saying in these fucking discords, like, it's no wonder people were like, what the fuck? There are people who question things and they're proving themselves to be on the forefront of some big issues. I respect them for that. And I understand the risks they take when they question everything. They come off looking like loons to people without balls. He's talking about Alex Jones, the guy who went on his fucking radio program and told people that the kids at Sandy Hook were actors. This was in 2020, he said this, you guys. And maybe he's changed. Maybe he has. I don't think so. Based off of the things that he's done with Skyfire News and the tactics that he's used against me when I call him out on this shit. It's wild, man. It's fucking wild. If you don't think Icke is a prophet, okay, we read that one. And then we got this one. Yes, slavery was a choice. Yeah, choose slavery or get shot. Do you know that to be the case? Didn't early English slave traders work cooperatively with African leaders of the day? No, they did not. They did not. If you mean they went to Africa and said, hey, we'll take 1,000 of those. And the king was like, yeah, we need the money. I'll give you 1,000 of those people. No problem. That was the negotiation. There was no cooperation. It was a negotiation. And a negotiation where the terms were set by the people doing the buying. Just simply do your fucking history. Tupa writes, at any given time on a plantation, black slaves outnumbered their slavers. So do you understand, like, you know, somebody writes, well, what about reparations? Slavery is a state of mind, not just chains. Okay. There's more. Berlinghoff Ramusen. So because Epstein was Jewish, we can't talk about his crimes without stoking anti-Semitic hatred. Question mark. White Lives Matter isn't racist because Black Lives Matter isn't racist. Both are racist. The philosophy behind a statement like that is so fucking shallow. It's so shallow, man. And again, he owned these things. He said these things. He admitted to the intent of these things. And then changed it, all of it, with the help of his buddy, Red Panda Koala, who was hired by Keemstar and Skyfire News, and then fired by Keemstar and LolCow. I told Keem that these guys are going to bite them in the ass, and 1 out of 2 already has. He's already failed him from an employment standpoint. I told you a couple weeks ago, I give it a year. Skyfire News tops. Because at some point, Red is going to show all of his real self too. Again, these are more screenshots. And Tupa writes, look, racism isn't a deal breaker for utopia. As much as you all want it to think it is for some great sin, it isn't. Chupacabra, January 11th, 2021. Let's see what else we got here. We saw that one. Okay, so she sends me these shots. She writes, there you go. I guess, wow, thanks. And she writes, yep, sucks to bond with you over this. And just for consideration, I can't believe I'm on KMF's side for something, but at least he's airing this shit too. Tupa is back on that Discord server, so I assume he's deleting old posts and shit. One more thing, Sam is playing this off as a pandemic having an effect on him. There are scores of posts from him on this Discord all about how COVID is fake and the pandemic is the pandemic is media propaganda, so even more bullshit. And he still thinks that. He still thinks that. And that the evidence of that is how he piled on Paranormal Chris when he talked about his vaccination status, and Ashton Forbes just sat there and made fun of him. He did the exact same thing that he did to me in Spaces 2 years prior, where people were talking shit, bullying me. I couldn't get a chance to talk or fucking add some rationality. And then I just left the space and blocked them. They did the exact same thing to Paranormal Chris, where they bullied him out of the fucking space because they couldn't abide by his vaccination status. And he blocked all of them. He blocked them. And I wrote, what an asshole. My favorite part was last night in a chat, Katie Howland forgave him and vowed to work with him to make him better. What the fuck happened to Katie Howland? She, at the time, was one of the worst people in this conversation. I mean, awful. Want to talk about intelligence asset? Katie Howland. I can't wait. Man, there's so many shows, especially over this last week, that I plan on releasing. But I can't wait to do the last UCR show when she shows up and we break down that conversation and how she successfully gaslit me on my own show. I mean, I didn't let it happen for too long, you know. But yeah, she is a lobbyist in the UFO community. And people hated me over her. Fucking nuts, man. Absolutely nuts. Funny how a racist has more flexibility to forgive than me. She was willing to forget racist Chupacabra over the things I've said. And there's nothing close to this shit. Again, I challenge anyone to find this kind of shit in my past. They've tried. They've taken tweets out of insane context, and they don't consider the people that I'm tweeting. Again, just it would put their careers in danger. These are not the kind of conversations I'm having on Twitter or in private messages or in Discords. You will not find that shit. You won't. I'll still stand by that. I'll stand by that for the rest of my fucking life. You will not find shit like this in my past. She writes, ugh. And then asks, I have a very dumb question about red Koreaboo. I guess she means red panda koala. I didn't know if panda was Korean. That should have been a red flag to me there too. How does she know that he's Korean? That's just weird. You know, looking back on this, I just I should have been Koreaboo in these screenshots. Is that red panda koala or whatever that guy's name is? I don't know who else to ask. And I wrote, I think it is. I guess that was a different handle. I guess that was red panda koala's other sock puppet account or something. So maybe he wrote that. I have no idea. I was I think it is. He's been showing a surprising amount of support for his boy Tupa. I've been hearing rumors in a Twitter space, nothing but hearts and claps when Tupa spoke. So this is what was happening when Tupa was doing these spaces. I would notice Red Panda fucking hearting it and liking it and clapping it. And I was confused. I was genuinely confused because I had dinner with Red Panda, with him and my girlfriend. And he came off as a really, soft-spoken, kind of shy kid. But he, I really loved his little documentaries that he was making. He had a massive following on YouTube, and he dropped all of it when this Tupa shit went down, and just started helping him spin all of this shit into a narrative where Tupa's a good guy. He didn't mean any of this. It's context. I'm going to show you. He does admit it. He does admit it. He does own it. But for some reason, he does it today. It's really weird. It's really, really weird. Not really. I think it's very clear why you guys are doing it. She writes, God damn it. And I go, what have you found? She writes, nothing really, just that he shows up on a server and I wasn't sure who he was. And writes, Sam is 100% full of shit about his apology on the Discord, by the way. There's absolutely zero apology anyplace. There's lots of times when he says, sorry, FG. Though, sorry, FAGGOT, or FAG, excuse me. Sorry, FAG. Though if you search his name plus sorry, this guy's incapable of telling the truth. The rots goes real deep. And I wrote, so deep. My gut tells me Panda is shady as fuck. Panda is shady as fuck. That's when I got my first inkling, was in December 28th or whatever this was. Right before the New Year. So I don't talk to her for another 12 or 13 days after that exchange. She hits me up and she says, just catching your stream from yesterday. Glad to see you and Rather back. Would love to chat soon off the record. Just started the stream like 2 minutes in, LOL. And I write, enjoy. Would love to talk anytime. And she writes, hell yeah. By the way, realize I'm jumping on cab tonight. Your advice is extremely well heeded. So on a phone call at some point, she calls me and she says, hey, can you give me some advice? Should I go on this cab show? I'm like, no, don't go on the cab show. Everything that you stand, all of the intelligence, all of the wonderful arguments you make, all of the philosophizing that you do will be lost on that show, because DJ is, I mean, dude, he is a bucket with a pulse. That's the best way I can describe him. He is a full propagandist. He snorts propaganda lines on his show. I was like, wait till you see the joke that I drop about him. And she continues to write, I've gotten quite the DMs from some of the folks you've warned me about. Your heads up and mentorship is appreciated. And FYI, I'm reading a statement on tonight's stream about Tupa, not a discussion subject, just not something we're doing a show on, but something we drafted in the community signed by all of INS, which is Invisible Night School. So I didn't sign this thing. I had nothing to do with this draft. Like, again, I've got nothing to do with the release of this shit. I'm just being told what's happening. And yeah, I'm not going to sit there and call Tupa and be like, oh my God, bro, you better be careful. This is what's happening. Like, that guy, fuck that guy. Fuck that guy today. He still does the same shit today. He hasn't changed a fucking bit. He's not sorry for any of this. None of it. Because every time he says somebody's attacking him, he never says why. He never goes into depth on the detail of messages like this. Tell him to do something like this between him and Panda. I'd love to see all the messages between him and Panda and the things that they discuss. And God knows, and not just the Panda Koala account and the Chupacabra account. Let's check out the King Milkford Harassment Archives account that Panda runs. Or any one of the multitude of fucking the Sam Lindell account or the Chupacabra 2 account. All of these guys got multiple accounts. They shut down their original ones so people can't look up the old shit. They open up new ones. Like, it's It's a fucking joke. And I'm the bad guy. I'm the person who's rude in spaces. Like, you see why? This guy stabbed me in the back thousands of fucking times. Thousands of times. And again, like, I'm going to show you this. We're not there yet. We're going to get the conversation between me and Tupa. And I wrote back to her, just fight the woo. Because I wrote back specifically to, yeah, by the way, I'm jumping on cab tonight. And I write to her, just fight the woo and beliefs with facts and grace. You know, the normal Leah. And she writes, 1,000%, that's the game plan. And then I write back to her, oh, also make sure the volume on your headphones is turned down. DJ is a yeller. If you ever watch the Cab Show, and nobody does, because your ears get blown out every time the motherfucker talks, he cannot yell. He cannot not yell. It is the most infuriating show to watch on this topic. It is bad. And so she's doing this episode tonight, and I watched the episode, and I was there in the live chat, and I would like feed her a question, and I'd be like, hey, ask this if you can. Or because, of course, on Cab, it's just a bunch of woo and bullshit. And then she would ask the question, but not phrase it in the way that I asked her to ask it. She would put like some caveat on it and wooify it and, philosophize about it. And I was like, fuck, dude, why is she doing that? This is where it got weird for me and Leah. Like, she asked me all of this advice on whether or not she should go on the show. I said, like, no, don't fucking do that show. She does it anyway, which is her fucking right. She can do that. But, like, why ask my advice and then just go on the fucking show? And then when she is on the show, she's just cattailing to all the bullshit that they're doing on the show. She's for what it looked like and what people were telling me behind the scenes, like Matt Riot. He was like, dude, I think she's just trying to use the shows to get herself closer to Diana Pasulka. She was a big Diana Pasulka fan and she was dying to talk to Pasulka. And I think Pasulka had gone on the Cab Show at some point. And so that's what I was told why she was like doing the show. And then after the show, like, yeah, I put laughing emojis and I write, I told you he was loud. He also thinks he's hilarious, which is true. He just makes these jokes that only he laughs at on the show. And she writes, I need someone giving me this kind of entrance everywhere I go. Good thing I didn't have AirPods in. Okay, yeah, so this is like the live stream of the show right now, right? Like, it's happening. And I'm like, I told you he was loud. She's like, fuck. Like, good thing I didn't have AirPods in. I wrote, seriously, how can you ask about the people? She's like, hey, I wrote to her. Hey, can you ask about the people they're trying to help? How do they determine the kind of trauma people are dealing with? ? And how do they know the trauma described isn't tied to another memory? ? Is there another doctor of any kind on the team? ? So, and then I write, or some variant of that. And she says, yes, I'll ask the question. And then writes, my next question is about the mechanics of investigation. So that slots perfectly into the inquiry. And that's where the conversation ended, because I heard her ask the question. I was like, that was nowhere near what I told her to ask. Like she's not. And the reason why it irked me, because she said she was going on there to cut to the bones of the issues, right? To use the sharp end of Leah Prime to get to the bone of these issues. And then I watch her on this show and she's not doing that. She's not even remotely close to doing that. So again, this is one of the biggest red flags I see right here. This is where I start going, who is this chick? Like, why I saw the same dance that Tupa was doing. The two-facedness, depending on who she's in front of, depends on what version of her you get. And her on Cab versus her on Invisible Night School versus her on UCR, completely different people. In how she formulates her arguments, that is. Same cadence, same sort of a delivery, but just what's being delivered varies on who she's sitting in front of. And when I saw that dance, like, again, I don't have any fucking tolerance when I see this dance anymore. Zero. So that was one of the big red flags with Leah right now. This was it. She writes, she sends me a message from Kathy Splash that says UAP Mike called Leah a CIA honeypot trap to lure believers. And she writes, I love this community just JFC. What does JFC mean again? Just for, I don't know. I can't remember what acronym JFC is. Man, I'm fucking tired. Which I laughed at. I didn't like. Mike always comes up with these fucking. He said I was honeypotted. And I think I've shown here, I've not been honeypotted by Leah. She didn't get me to look up anything. I didn't organize any websites. I didn't do anything but just be her friend at the time and look at the information she was sending me. And I sent out one tweet that said, someone's going to have a bad week in UFO Twitter. Because it was her investigation to announce. I wasn't going to steal that thunder from her. I was like, that's the work she did. I write, he's such a douche in response to UAP Mike. And then on February 9th, which was almost a month later, I haven't talked to her for a month. Okay. Again, like primarily because of that, what she was doing on Cab. It was like, it was pissing me off. Like it was, I could see it. It was the fucking dance and I hated it. And she writes, or I write to her, yo, an account by the name of UFO Helpline asked me to be connected with the person who found the Tupa stuff. Please reach out if you want to, or I can help them, or I could just tell them you're not interested. He/she seems to have dirt on KMF and others. And then when you get to this photo, it's from UFO Helpline, and he's writing me a message. He hits me up on Twitter saying, hey, can you DM me so I can talk to you in a DM? So I write to him hello in this DM. And then he writes, hey, man, are you still in contact with the researcher that had info in the Tupa? If you could introduce us or have them contact me, it'd be mighty grateful. If my profile isn't obvious, I'd like to work with them. And and then I wrote back, let me reach out to them first. I don't want to blow that cover. I will pass your info along. Okay. And so I took a picture of that message and then I sent it to Leah. And with, you know, hey, this guy says that he wants to help you research KMF and all these people who are doing all this hateful shit. And she writes, hey, dude, I was just thinking of you. I caught your show on my drive the other day and it was good to hear you, Mike, and Rather. And B, you're not wrong about your assertions. I have not drank the Kool-Aid, believe me. So I think at some point here, I'll ping the person from an alt. Okay, so okay. I have not drank the Kool-Aid, believe me. I don't know why she said that. You're not wrong about your assertions. I have not drank the Kool-Aid, believe me. NB, what is NB? What do you guys think? Okay. Yeah, I don't know exactly what that means. And then she continues to write, I'll ping the person from an alt account. So she gets in touch with that person from a completely separate account, which is understandable. When people send you messages like that, it's always like, are you who you say you really are? And honestly, a message like this is the same kind of message that Mike and Joyce will send from alt accounts to get information on people and take screenshots. That's why they have so many screenshots. They do shit like this. And again, like, I'm not here to fucking give anybody's information. Hey, I'll take your info. I'll pass it along to the person that I know got the info. Okay, so then she writes, I'll ping the person from my alt. Can you tell them to message Twitter username UFO Truth Hurts, please? Gracias. And I wrote done. Okay, so then that's when I did that. So then on February 20th, okay, so what was the February 3rd, I think, was the... So again, like almost another month. Yeah, February 9th, okay? So fucking 11 days later, I sent her these pictures from Tupa, okay? He DMs me. Tupa asked me to unblock him. And this is the conversation that took place between me and Tupa. And this is the conversation that proves he said those things with the intention that he meant to say them. And it proves that I tried to rationalize and didn't dox him or go after his family. And he didn't like the answers I was giving him. So let's read through this. So Tupa writes to me. And again, keep this in mind. This is after all of the harassment that I've seen this guy endorse, stamp, laugh at, clap to, fucking, you know, make fun of me and like join in the fun, okay? Like all of that shit. So these tweets come out, all of this horrible shit is said about him. He gets hell for the next 2 months, and this is month number 2. So I guess at this point, like stuff starts getting doxed about him. Like it started getting pretty nasty. And I think the reason why it started getting pretty nasty for him, and it's not a justification, okay, let me be clear. This is not a justification for what happened to him. But I think the reason why people like King Milkfart and maybe even Leah were digging even further into who you were was because you didn't go away. It didn't seem like you were sorry whatsoever. And I think these messages right here are going to prove that. So he writes to me, "I'm sorry I called you a hoe. You actually tried to warn everyone of this kind of thing happening, and I ignored you. You were called a traitor for questioning Elizondo, and I piled on. I'm sorry for that too." And again, keep in mind, before he sends this message, he's doing spaces the day before. He called me a hoe, and that's what he's apologized. So he was literally yelling at me moments before this DM. I write back to him, "I appreciate the apology, but it feels too little too late. Especially considering you're doing the same shit you were doing when I left the community. I would walk away and you get some serious, if I were you, I would walk away and get some serious help. Your presence will always be marred by the hate and homophobia you spread. Also, this topic is a grift and a dead end." Like, I'm just giving him advice here. Like, dude, you're like you should just get out of this because it's a grift. It's a dead end. It's bullshit. I'm giving him advice. I'm telling him, hey, you're in a cult and it's not helping you deal with your very real issues. I wish you all the luck in the world. That was my response. He writes, "I didn't do this to you when you left." Yeah, you did. You just admitted it in the first fucking sentence to me. I mean, like, this is what Tupa does. He literally gaslights you in fucking one sentence. "I'm sorry I called you a hoe. You actually tried to warn everyone about this kind of thing happening, and I ignored you. You were called a traitor in questioning Elizondo, and I piled on you." And then writes, "I didn't do this to you when you left. I didn't protect anyone's info. I didn't celebrate a website. I didn't take joy in your abuse. You're wrong about a lot, Lou, and you're right about a lot also." And so then my response to that was, I also didn't spend years calling anyone a Nigger or a Faggot. You did. Your silence and acceptance to my situation was deafening. Okay? Again, his silence and his participation was deafening. So here I am telling him, yeah, I ain't buying it, bro. I've been listening to you. I've been watching you. You're not as sorry as you say you are. And I still believe that to this day. To listen to you agree with the likes of Milkfart, which he was having spaces with when he was piling on, okay? And every other asshole piling on was enough to see it was enough to see who you really are. I'm not going to let you gaslight me because you got caught being a racist homophobe. I just told the truth about the fucking lies, blackmail, and manipulation I experienced. I will never forget the way you blew off those accusations, along with all your other buddies in the community. I see them, I'm watching them, and they will slip just like you did. Look in the mirror, Sam. This is on you. And I've been right. Look at what's happening to the UFO hate group these last month. Look at what's happening to Skyfire News just in the last week. Again, go watch their show last night and see if they give you a detailed breakdown of what they said like this. You'll never find it. They'll never give it to you. Ever. Ever. Then he writes back to me, if you've never looked at the timestamps or context of my Discord comments, that's fine. But don't pretend like you did and continue to spread flash hoods. Never called anyone an Nigger, and I definitely didn't go do it for years. I'm not a homophobic or a racist. You know that. Okay, to which I write, again, I'm not going to let you gaslight me, man. I know what I saw. I heard your defense and ownership of your words. To sit here and try and sell me that you didn't mean those things you wrote is ludicrous. Do I think you're the type of person to commit a hate crime that injures someone? No. I don't believe that. I don't believe you're that kind of racist. I just think you're an incel on the internet because you don't think you're going to get in trouble there. Do I think you're the type of person to commit a hate crime that injures someone? No, I do not. But claiming your words had no meaning is fucking ridiculous. Again, I hope you get better, but don't dare try and compare your situation to mine because they are not the same remotely whatsoever. You are the Pied Piper of fairy tale land, and I no longer follow that tune. Godspeed to you and your family. Again, I'm done with you. I've explained to you that your apology is not good enough, and I'm not going to let you gaslight me in the first 3 fucking sentences of this exchange. I made it very clear to him, and doing it respectfully, and agreeing with him on the parts that he's right on. Because like I said earlier, I respected the shit out of him taking his public lashing. But if I was his PR person, I would have said, dude, go away for 2 years. Go edit something. Go make a movie. Go really work on something cool and then come back with that. And also get some help. You know, like go talk to a therapist. Go touch real grass, man. Because you're doing 23-hour fucking spaces on Twitter. He was not touching real grass whatsoever. My words had meaning. Okay, this is Tupa. Right here. Finally admits it. My words had meaning. Period. I apologize and explain that I regret what I said. Period. So he said those things. He meant those things. I don't want to hear from B. I don't want to hear from RPK. I don't want to hear from Mike, who's now his best friend. I don't want to hear from Skyfire News. There it is right fucking there in his own fucking words. So, who's the bad guy here? Who's the piece of shit here? Me? I don't think so. I don't fucking think so. And the proof is in the fucking pudding right here. My words had meaning, period. I apologize and explain that I regretted what I said, period. So I'm telling the truth when I say he owned those words and he apologized for those words. But then he was back the next day doing 20-hour Twitter spaces. So excuse me if I don't believe those words. I have good reasons not to. And all of you that are new to this community, this is what you're endorsing. This is what you're hanging out with. This is what you think is cool and funny and not a big fucking deal. And if you want this into your discussions, then go for it. I'm not interested. I'm not interested anymore. It doesn't reflect who I am right now. People said I didn't go away. I didn't go to therapy. I did. That's gaslighting. No, it's not. It's not. I don't know you went to therapy. Well, have you shown the fucking receipts for your therapy sessions? I have no idea if you went to therapy. And based off of your actions, no, you didn't. Because you're still doing the same shit today. I told you I was going deep today. I don't give a shit how long this show is today. How long are we right now? Started at 5:30. It's almost 8 o'clock. We're almost done. But I do not want any of this shit ever put on me again. This is why I'm doing this for the second time now. The first time I didn't give all the context in every single message with Leah because it wasn't necessary at that time. But now that we have accusations boiling up from a guy who was the tip of the spear when it came to hate crimes and harassment and fucking photos, okay, like this of my fucking girlfriend getting a fucking train ran on her. And you wonder why I don't forgive these motherfuckers? I hope you guys are starting to see what's happening. Tupa isn't racist. Come on. He admits it right here. He admitted it. That's not me just saying it. These are his words in black and fucking white, Zelda. And his actions prove that he hasn't learned a fucking thing. And if you can't see that, that's on you. That's on fucking you. He continues. I'm simply asking you to read what I wrote to get the full context. I never had a Reddit account. I've never abused anyone. What has happened to me in the UFO Jane? I mean, literally, he fucking contradicts himself in the same paragraph. Here he admits it, and then right here in the next fucking sentence, he's like, but that's not what I meant. My words had meaning. I apologize and explain that I regret what I said. I'm simply asking you to read what I wrote in full context. Which one is it, dude? This is what he does. He gives you two things at once every fucking time, and so does Panda. And they've tried to dilute this and muddy this to where it makes me look like I was attacking them. And that's the farthest thing from the fucking truth. I've shown you the plan of doing the show that I never did because of what I saw him do publicly and admit that those words had meaning. And he apologized and explained his regret. He writes, what has happened to me in UFO Jane, which is my fucking co-host. Now all of a sudden you care about our co-host? Now that it's happening to you? This is the same shit Mike's doing right now. Nobody was more aware of the shit Jane was getting than me. But Jane didn't deserve what she got. You did. Not all of it, but the initial reaction, you definitely deserve that. Anything past that initial reaction, I don't agree with and I don't endorse. But to sit here and compare yourself to Jane, give me a fucking break. Give me a fucking break, Sam. What has happened to me in UFO Jane and Hey Ocean and so many more is actually harmful. So this brings me to my Hey Ocean part of the show. Hey Ocean, I hope you're fucking listening, but UAP Mike hates your fucking guts. He does not like you. He never has. The people who called CPS on you, Mike was laughing with and enjoying with. Okay? I tweeted because I wanted to know the exact date. I didn't get an exact date, but roughly. I tweeted Darren Reed, who is the person who called CPS on Hey Ocean. And I asked him, hey, can you do me a favor and tell me when you called CPS on her? And he writes mid-August of 2023. So since mid-August of 2023, Mike has been sitting on this. The CPS call to your children. And he also says that behind the scenes, he was saying this was fucked up. Prove it. Prove it. Show us those texts and show us what people were saying to you. Why don't you unlock your fucking account and let's see what you were saying in mid-August of 2023 with Darren Reed and King Milkfart. Let's see, Mike. I've showed mine. Now let's see yours. I hope one day you recognize the difference between talking shit and criminal harassment and abuse. To which I respond, I read all of it. I read all of the messages. There is no context in which that language is acceptable, period. I understand you're going to therapy, and I hope that works out for you. I know it's helping me because I also went to therapy after I fucking got attacked from this community. I had to. I had to talk to somebody about this because it was fucking intense. Again, when you're seeing shit like this in your timeline all the time. From Fettuccine Split, from King Milkfart, from UAP Mike. Imagine this is your wife or your daughter. Just imagine. I hope that works out for you. I know it's helping me, but using the language you use is not just, quote, talking shit. I can understand if you were an underage kid that didn't know any better, but you're a man. This is never going to go away for you. This will follow you until the day you die. You fucked around and you found out. Simple as that. I'm not sure you've changed, I wrote, I'm sure you have changed and I'm happy for you. But then I hear the story from Ben and Joe, UFO Garage guys, and I think, cool, has he really learned anything? Anything short of ending this grift will never be met with positivity from me. That's just the way I feel. And I have a right to feel that way. And that's not a wrong reaction to what he just admitted to. I wrote to him, you're a leader of people with serious mental illness and a willingness to pay to confirm their own beliefs. He writes back to me after I write that, you fucked around and found out. No, he writes, excuse me, I just had to read this twice. He writes to me, you fucked around, period. You're about to find out. So he just threatened me. After I wished him well, and after I said, look, I understand where you're coming from, and I hope you get better, but I don't want anything to do with this. I'm sorry, man. Like, I can't be seen hanging around with you. And again, it's too little too late. It's been 5 months, dude, that you've been talking shit about me. Like, sorry, bro. You had your shot over and over and over and over again, and you failed over and over and over and over again. And you're failing today. You think you're successful. You think you're killing it, but you're not. You're really not. You're really not. And then he writes after that, I tried, period. Wish you the best. To which I wrote back, boy, what the fuck does that mean? I can see you changed, and you wonder why people are pissing on your apologies. When the apologies don't mean anything, like they clearly don't mean here. Oh, just shut off my headphone here. You wonder why people are shitting on your apologies, Sam. This is why. I mean, it's really fucking simple. It really, really is, man. And so then I just had a little exchange with our buddy. Not too sure what he means with the last part, but he did send this out to me the other day. And this is a tweet. Says the, quote, wonderful researcher, okay, because I called her a wonderful researcher in my tweet, and her incel army are going to be labeled the most evil group in ufology. You all will know who I'm talking about because they're in your groups, on your podcasts, in your DMs, and even in your beds. What I discovered is dark. Hashtag UFO Twitter. So all of the things that Tupa Cabra came out and spoke about, he turned around and did right back to them. Oh, sorry. There you go. Sorry. So he tweets this to me, right? As if like he's going to find some dirt on me. Nothing ever happened. Because he doesn't have anything. Because he's an idiot. And he's made a lot of accusations. He's put out a lot of theories, but he hasn't put forward any evidence other than the evidence that people come out and start talking about. But there's no smoking gun as to, oh shit, this is who it is. We have a good idea. I think he's right on some of them, but do I think it's an organized effort? Fuck no. No way. No way. This is just a group of angry, lonely incels that work for mommy and have nothing better to do with their lives. There's no organization about this shit at all. It's simply just stupid people doing stupid things for people who they think are heroes or valuable in some way. They come up, they think of these things on their own. She then writes to me, oh yeah, I know Matt Monroe is feeding this too because I refused Matt's advances multiple times. I had to lock my account. No idea what Tupa is cooking up, but I'm not responding to any of it. And I wrote, who is Matt Monroe? No idea. She writes, thanks for keeping me in the loop. Whatever you tell me stays here. Matt Monroe, 1980 on Twitter, emotionally unstable, serious substance abuse issues, lots of firearms. So that's Matt Monroe. Again, another person that was simping on her. So that's two we know of, King Milkfart and now Matt Monroe. And I know for sure of one more, but I'm not going to say that name until somebody else comes out with it. If it ever comes out, it's not my fucking business. But yeah, it seems there is some truth to her flirting with these incels to get them to do things and look up things for people. It seems that way, but there's no 100% evidence to prove that. There's just not. There's inference, there's smoke, but I haven't seen the fire yet. I'm sure it's probably coming where we all think it's coming from, right? But we need that evidence. And maybe, who knows, B says that arrests are coming. We'll see. We'll see. When they come, we'll talk about it. But as of right now, nothing's happened. I anticipate getting the authorities involved, given I have repeatedly and directly asked him to leave me alone. And now Tupa is kissing his ass because Matt is likely sending Tupa screenshots. And I wrote, well, where does that guy live? And she's like, in Houston. I was like, whew. And then this is where I had to block out something about Leah that I don't think is relevant to this conversation whatsoever. But she writes, I have an address and all of his contact information, including his parents. Okay, so this is the guy who she says is harassing him. And God damn, that's a lot of information to have on somebody. Maybe I either, how do you get the only way I can think of getting that information is if he really trusted you. Or you visited him one time, or you guys mailed each other something, or you looked it up by some other means, which is just, it's weird. And then she writes, Sam is also likely going to manufacture something about me. Unfortunately, I am boring. And then she writes something here about herself that's in her past, but I don't think it's anybody's fucking business. And yeah, again, this is the only part that I'm leaving out because I think this would actually lead to a real doxing. And if you noticed, yeah, like all you see is you can't see her photo. I took out everything. And I wrote, I'm not sure what he thinks they have on me, LOL, right? So yeah, they got nothing. And then she writes, yeah, that's what I keep thinking. I'm the most boring white bread person imaginable, but apparently he's going to release something to ruin my future. And I don't think anything was ever released by him as far as Leah's concerned, as far as like, again, evidence that she hacked people, evidence that she directed people to attack. It's close, you know, it's right there on the fucking edge. But I don't know 100%. And neither does Sam, and neither does Tupa. They're just guessing. I write, his last message to me was hilarious. It just shows he doesn't mean anything. And she writes, classic narcissist. He'll escalate and escalate because I'm not responding to him at all. He's a coward, and there's only one tactic, and the only one tactic is escalation. Anyway, stay close. What I've said stays here. If anything happens or whatever, I'll be in touch. And feel free to send me or reach out anytime. I have your back in this. Sam Lingle is a dangerous man. I don't know if Sam Lingle is a dangerous man, but Sam Lingle is Sam Lingle is a complicated person. He's a really complicated person. Not a person that I'm interested in unraveling and figuring it out. I don't want anything to do with that Rubik's Cube of Sam Lingle. I have no interest whatsoever. You know, and I wrote back, same. I mean, but I don't know if I'd call him dangerous. You know, I don't think Sam doesn't strike me as the kind of person who would show up at somebody's house. He really does not at all. Like, but then again, I also said, I don't think I said this, but if you had asked me at the time before these messages come out, hey, do you think something like this is in his past? I would say no fucking way. No way. Yeah, he's a jerk, but he's not that. So I do believe that he's not dangerous, but I do agree with everything that was said before that. Tupacabra writes, ufologist getting hacked, ... Let's see if I should have blown this up. Yeah. Look at who calls himself, quote, a hacker and has extensive experience in the IT community. Need clues? I'm assuming he's talking about Leah because she's the one who sent me this picture. She's like LMAOOOO. And I wrote, what a dick. And then I wrote to him or to her, I was just suspended last night from Twitter because Chris Sharp made a false claim that I shared a private photo I pulled from his Twitter. And that's the move, man. Honestly, that's the move from these guys. So this is why I'm using his Twitter profile picture here, so there's no bullshit. But I sent her the photo that I used, which is just a really close-up photo of his stupid face. She wrote, if my 13-year-old self knew that I would be part of a UFO conspiracy around hacking, I would think it was the coolest fucking thing in the universe. Like, I don't know if that's an admittance that she would be part of a UFO conspiracy around hacking. I don't know if that's an admittance that she's hacking things. I don't know if she's hacking, more of she's getting information for people. And this is where things really start to go south for her and I. I would think it was the coolest fucking thing in the universe. And she responds, "Goddamn, what a goon," to the the thing I said. And I write, "Serious goon." And then she writes on March 7th. So again, like a few days later, like, it's not like we're talking every day. It's a 3 or 4 times a month, if that, sometimes once a month. So again, not a ton of communication between me and Leah other than what you're seeing here. She writes, great show, LOL, at Tupa in the chat. I think I did a show with Tupa Cabra. He asked me to come do a show, and we talked it out. And this is where I think we came to an agree to disagree kind of thing. You know, again, I'm always willing to give people the benefit of the doubt and try and forgive them. And I genuinely did try and do that with Tupa and Red. And they fucked it up again. Like, they fucked it up a third time. We're not doing this a fourth time. I want off this fucking merry-go-round. Great show. Glad to see you, RBS, and Michael Mataluni together again. And I wrote back, did you see me call him out? As in Tupa. She's like, I did, LOL. Is there anything about that guy that isn't phony? Seriously, good conversation too. I mean that. And I wrote, thank you. It was fun. So glad to hear that. I'm back, baby. This is like, you know, like that was, I wonder which episode that was. I don't know if we did that on my show or if we did that in the space. It sounds like we probably did it in a space, or my show rather. I got to go back and look at it. She's like, I love it. If there was anything I could do to support you or your work, some diplomacy, let me know. Is there anything I could do to support your work or your diplomacy, let me know. And I was like, will do. And then I wrote to her on March 12th. Again, like this was the 8th. So 4 days later, I wrote, hey, did you mean to like this tweet? We're still good, right? And then we get a look at this tweet. And this is where I was like, fuck, this chick is liking this guy's tweets. And this wasn't the first tweet that she liked. This is the one where I was like, I need to know what the fuck's going on. et.com underscore is the handle that tweeted out this, that wrote, oh, Lou, as in me, no one should make fun of people for their appearance. Glad you agree. That said, KMF's looking good in these flirty selfies. Looks like people agree as well. Happy Sunday. And there are two selfies. This is basically this guy's trolling me and sends me these pictures of KMF as if he's like a good looking guy. Right. And she liked it. And that pissed me off. Because now you're doing the same shit Sam was doing. And I'm not going to get played again, basically. And she writes, oh, LMAOOO. I liked it because he's making people real mad. Not you. I was like, okay, cool. I didn't think so. I just wanted to check. I riled them up something good. Right? Because I said something that made them tweet that. And then she wrote, dude, we are so good, I promise. If you want me to try and get Milkfart to chill out, let me know. And I was like, okay. You get Milkfart to chill out? That's a weird thing to say. I'm misspelling things on purpose. So like I would go and respond to them and misspell things on purpose just to see them go fucking crazy. It's the same thing Mike does. Like when I said, what was the phrase I used like 2 weeks ago? God, I can't remember. It was like a double entendre. I basically said something in two different ways that meant the same thing. And he just jumped on that and kept bringing it up and bringing it up and bringing it up. And it's just like these little stupid things are the things that trigger them the most because they think if they harp on that, it's going to make you look like a total asshole. And it's like, okay, it doesn't. Especially when you take the whole context of the conversation and who sounds more intelligent. And it's never Mike. Never Mike. And then I make some jokes about misspelling. And then she writes, I don't think you're fucking with me. And I promise that we are cooler than cool. And I consider you a friend. I'm sorry he's being a dick to you. It's exhausting. And I wrote, just to troll them. Not Tina them, FML. Again, misspelling shit. She's like, oh, I don't know, Tina. I'm just trolling to piss off Matt and Tupa. And I wrote, he's a maniac. Haha, he's nuts. And then she writes, okay, or I write, okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure I'm doing this ongoing series from now until forever. And this is when I was going to do, I was going to call the show the Church of Ufology instead of Lou Reviews. But at the time, I wasn't 100% committed to just doing the UFO discussion again. I was really on the fence. I was like really playing with it. Like, well, okay, what am I going to do? Am I going to do UFOs again? And if so, how am I going to talk about this in a way that's opposite, but sort of similar to UCR? And yeah, it's taken me a while to get back to where we are today. But, you know, this was sort of what I was thinking. And she writes, oh, God, are you going to do a Tupa show? And she writes, KMF is on Cambion tomorrow night too, LOL. And I wrote, send me anything you think is important to either person. You talked to KMF enough to back, and then I wrote, did you talk to KMF enough to back him off? And she's like, I do. And she wrote, we aren't friends, but we get along. And I meant what I said about doing some diplomacy on your behalf if you ever want me to. And I wrote back to her, I tried myself, but he can't seem to handle it. I've genuinely tried to rationalize with Joseph Marinello, the old King Milk Fart. And he refuses to fucking rationalize anything. And then I wrote, I was toying with the idea of inviting him on my show. I know he won't be able to resist. We aren't constrained by radio anymore. And she writes, dude, him on Cambion, my exact advice was, quote, if you lose your shit, Tupa is going to win that conversation. So I guess Cambion had set up a show between him and Tupa. And she says, calm and collected wins the day. And I wrote, I don't think he's capable. I don't think that's possible. And she writes, yep, by the way, the KMF selfies, those are pics he posted in response to selfies I posted. So now she's coming back and making more excuses as to why she liked. So she's just reaffirming. And again, just like, I'm keeping track of these things. I'm tracking these red flags. Those are pics he posted in response to selfies I posted. There's zero going on between us except that I know all the UFO Twitter conspiracy nerds will read into the exchanges and get big mad. The actual truth is I welcome any weird misdirections about my personal life. Anyway, sorry to have added to your stress. This whole thing can be such a head game sometimes. And then I wrote, all good, no stress here. But I was making notes of that. And then on March 13th, again, this is like half a month later, I write, hey, Steve Cambion had made a really nice video about what happened to me, and I wanted to reach out to him, and I knew that she could maybe get his number through the people that were just on the show. And I was like, hey, do you have Cambion's number? Can you send him mine? If you do, ask him to reach out if he can. And she writes, I don't, but I can get it. Do you need it? And I said, yeah, I don't want to reach out on Twitter publicly. And then she writes, no problem. I'll put the word out, and then sends me his phone number. Okay. That's why Ashton Forbes is covering that part of the the message here. But writes, I have an email. I just wanted to be quicker. And then she gives me his number, and I say, thank you. And then she writes to me, what's the dirt on Katie Howland? I have zero dog in this fight. Just don't know what her deal is. 100% confidential. Just looking for some context. And she writes, oh shit, LOL. I just saw you're streaming. I'm tuned in and watching. Hit me up if you need anything. I got your back. I'm a total blast and absolutely fun. You know it. Okay, cool. Thank you. That's what I figured. There's nothing there. I don't know what that means. But I wrote back to her. Yeah, like I wasn't very quick to respond to her. So she wrote at 10:15, I guess I was doing a show. And then at 11:45, I wrote back, yeah, I don't know anything about her other than what is known publicly. She's just claiming I harassed her. I just wanted to put the kibosh on that. So I guess I just done a show about Katie Howland. And she writes, understood. I'm sorry. Just more drama on top of drama. It's exhausting. Are you doing okay? Asking as a friend, person to person. Okay. And so this is where this information right here, the very next day after I gave her this, King Milk Fart starts making jokes about some of the details in this exchange right here. And this is where I was done. I write, I'm good. I've lost 45 pounds. I'm killing it at the Upright Citizens Brigade. Michelle and I went to San Diego this weekend. My family's healthy. I'm good. I've been working like crazy, 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. Most days, 4 to 5 days a week. And for the last 2 months, just a lot on my plate, all very good problems to have at this point. I'm just the announcer at a wrestling match when it comes to anything outside of that. Important shit. So, just basically telling her, yeah, everything's good. Like we're traveling, we're losing weight, we're eating hell, like everything's good, right? And she writes, goddamn, dude, I'm proud of you. I'm working on my COVID body too. Shit is rough. You've got all the good stuff going on. You deserve it. I write, no sugar, no carbs. It's really worked. Now I just got to control my bad fats versus good fats. And I think I'm getting a handle on it, which I didn't. How are you doing? Did I see that you're dating someone? And I was asking her, just being nice, right? Like, this is just friendly conversation. It's got nothing to do with anything else. She's like, yeah, sugar is the devil, man. It affects my mood so much. The only time I can justify it is before these monster ski days where my muscles just tire out without some. I found intermittent fasting really helpful for me too. I'm doing well. Still single, but that may change quite soon. We'll see. Hanging around for the Northeast ski season, slowly starting to look for work after a year off, skiing my ass off. Now, let me just look at the date on this because I just want to just kind of give you a little bit of a clue as to how crazy this is, because the next things that happen are pretty wild. So this is March 14th where we talk about her being single, okay, and how that might change soon. March 14th, just put a pin on that. Intermittent fasting. I was like, sweet, yeah, I intermittent fast as well. I'm eating only once a day. It's great. I wrote, I'm happy to hear all as well. I thought I saw a picture of you and some guy. Looked like a connection. Good luck. You're a catch. So wait for the hook. Took me a while to find Michelle. Wait to set the hook. I'm just like, hey, I think you're like, again, you want to give people the benefit of the doubt as much as you can, even though you see some of these red flags. But when you're having these kinds of conversations, it's like, sometimes you let your guard down. And so she writes back, happy to hear about all that. She's like, oh yeah, there's lots of male friends, wink. And yeah, your relationship with Michelle is inspiring, to be honest. Really awesome to see a man so supportive of his lady. I love this for you. And I wrote, I had to throw back a lot of fish and be thrown back in myself. She's my rock. She writes, yes, I have someone like this, still technically single, but I'm cautiously optimistic. I've been doing a lot of rodeos. I was like, I hear you. She writes, if you're ever in New York, let me know, or Pittsburgh, I guess. Haha. Would love to meet for a drink or whatever. I'm like, will do. Same if you're in LA. And then on March 18th, so 4 days later. Okay. And again, I've seen her like things, and the things that we just had in this private exchange that I just read for you guys was being used as bullets for King Milk Fart's gun. So my next text 4 days later after I see these messages, March 18th, 9:23 a.m. Is KMF's real name Joseph Marinello? Someone had put that out on Twitter. And so I wanted to know if she knew, if she could verify this for me. Because if she knows his name, his full name, that's kind of weird. Especially if you're just honeypotting, or not honeypotting him, but using his incel intuition to get information out of him. She writes, I have no idea, to be honest. So her first response is, I have no idea. That's a lie. She does. She does know him. And she says it real soon right here. She goes, I just call him KMF. And I write, well, can you poke around? She writes, I'm trying to take a big step back from this since I've gotten death threats. Okay. That's not answering my question. And I had to file an FBI and interstate police report over Beverly Holmes and Sam and Matt. That's still not answering my question. Okay. So it sounds like these two things are trying to make me feel sympathy for her. And then she writes, his first name is Joe. I can at least confirm that, but I don't know his surname. And I wrote, you said enough. You said enough. This all happened in a minute, this exchange right here. She went from, I have no idea, to be honest, to, I know his name is Joe, but I can at least confirm that, but I don't know his surname. So I went from, I don't know, to, yeah, I know. And again, couple this with pictures of her hugging at UFO cons with him and the things that she's liking. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck's going on? Like, what the fuck? You said enough. Okay. May 20th. So this is what, another 6 days later. This is when I did my episode revealing everything about her, revealing part of this text message, not all of it, just when it comes to Sam and how I got the texts, the images of that server, how it got to me, how I knew about them. Okay, I've already kind of done this show once, but now I'm doing it again with all of it because there's a lot of accusations being thrown around this person and me. And I want to be as transparent as I can with my audience and the new people that are in here hearing things about me that are not fucking accurate. So May 20th, okay? Remember that date, March 14th, I think? Okay? By May 20th, and I didn't know this. I did that show exposing her bullshit on her wedding day. So March 14th, she was fucking single and still looking for things to tie down. On May 20th, after I told her, yeah, you've said enough, she hits me up. And after I do the show, that's why I was like, I'm done. And I did my show exposing all her bullshit, and she did not like it. This is the last thing she said to me ever. Really, man? I've defended you inexhaustibly to so many people. Have you? Because you were liking their tweets. You were high-fiving them, kind of like what Tupa was doing. My tolerance is fucking gone for this kind of behavior. I don't fuck around anymore. This is why I don't trust anybody either anymore. I thought we were friends, or at least friendly. I've had your back. INS has supported you and not piled against you, which is a lie. Nick Coffin Callis is friends with King Milkfart. They're buddies that still talk to this day. I don't understand why you're doing this. I just got married yesterday and have dealt with death threats and harassment from this group. You want to add to that? So it's not my fault? No. I didn't even respond to that. No. You're not going to gaslight me, Leah. No. And it's just weird that you found a husband in less than 2 months. That's just fucking weird. I mean, it happens, but weird. Okay? So that's everything. You guys, that's every single fucking text I've ever had with Leah Prime. And so, yeah. That's all of it. And I think what I want to do now, because I've got the time, I'm going to open up our Discord. And I'm going to invite you guys to come talk to me and ask me any questions you want. And I'll do that for about, I think, an hour. And then I'm going to get the fuck out of here. This is probably one of the longest shows I've done since the big phone home. This is now, what are we on? 3 hours at least? 3 hours and 4 minutes. Let me see here. Else 3. Where is the Discord? Where's the Discord? I guess I'll just put it in here. let's see here. So if you guys haven't checked out our Discord, Arden, if you're still here, if you want to pop the Discord link in the description, and then you guys can join me here if you want, if you haven't joined the Discord yet. Allow to use that. All right. So now we've got Discord open. So if you guys want to come in, ask questions, you're more than welcome to do so. You know, or whatever. Let's talk about this. I want to answer any questions. I don't want to be accused of, oh, what about this? Or you got this wrong. Okay, if I got it wrong, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Where's the actual? Let's see here. Live spaces. Nope, that's not right. Let's see here. General discussion. See, like, I'm awful at Twitter. I'm not even sure if I've done this right yet. Did I do this right, guys? Add a server? Nope, I don't want to add a server. Let's see here. I'm not friends with KMF, and we do not talk to this day. NCC. I'm Nick Coffin Callis. Okay, well, that's good to know. I'm glad you're not friends with him anymore. That's great. Yeah, I think it's on. I think it's working. We got UFO Shane in here. Shane, can you hear me? Oh, there we go. See him in here. Oh wait, maybe I should turn this on. Shane, you there? Hello.
Yeah,
oh,
let's go.
Yo, let's go. What's up?
Yeah, dude, how's it feel, man? How's it feel to be accused of things and then just showing that those are all bullshit lies?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I just hope the audience can sort of decipher. I hope I went slow enough for everyone to understand. But yeah, I mean, I just challenge Mike or Tupacabra or Red Panda Koala to do the same now. Let's see if they could be as transparent as I have been.
You know, unfortunately though, dude, like they all love you. People like they're like, he's the next whistleblower, whatever. You know, that dude, Mike, he had every chance to do all this whistleblowing when he was in the thick of it. But he didn't do that, right? He didn't do that. He waited until he was abandoned by his friends to come forward and act like he's the victim. He's not the victim. He's the aggressor.
Right.
That dude, his wife, they have planned. I was there, dude. I've been there, right? Mm-hmm. And they were the aggressors. And now, oh, woe is me. Woe is me. A2 Brutus, right? So it's ridiculous.
I agree. Yeah, I agree 100%. Let me, how do I share this, this space with people?
I think what you should do is just say, hey, join the Discord, join the general live chat. That's what I did. That's what I thought you were talking about. I wasn't sure, so I just did this.
Let's see. Arden, do you have the, I think this is the Discord link. I think if you hit that one, you guys will get here if you guys want to come in and ask questions. Nick Coffin Callis is asking me to text him back.
That's weird.
Yeah.
You know what sucks is like when you do UFO spaces or you try to tell people the truth and all this stuff, you have people that just they act like you're their friends, and they're really not. You know, like there was a whole space about me, like people were just talking about me. They were calling me like, oh, UFO Shane used to do drugs, and yeah, that's all true. Yeah. I've been very honest about that. And then people who were my friends were co-hosting that space. And I would never, right, Lou? Like, you know, I would never let someone come in my space and talk shit about my friends. But what they do, they just let it keep going under the guise of UAP truth and UFO truth. That it's nonsense.
Yeah.
UFO Twitter is full of just zealots, cult following, idiot losers.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think it's pretty fucking wild, dude. But I'm interested to know, like what their response to this will be. I wonder how they're gonna spin this shit. You know, I have a feeling
they're going to spin it, Lou, as victims. They're going to say that you started it. They're going to say that they are actually the victims, even though they were a part of these things for months.
Right.
For months and months and months and months. They literally are going to say, oh, like what the really thing is that you have a chance in life sometimes, right, to tell the truth. And you're given that chance, and then you're either weak-willed or you're going to follow the guideline, or you're going to step forward and just be honest to yourself and to other people. And Mike didn't do that. Joyce didn't do that. None of these people did that. Whenever people are, like I couldn't even imagine being in a group chat where people are like, hey, guys, I found out his home address. Let's go together and send him a bag of dicks. And then let's post horrible pictures about his girlfriend who has nothing to do with this. And I want to tell you as well, Lou, Uplifting Tweets messaged me and he said, I did not know about this. The gangbang picture with your girlfriend. He was like, this is disgusting. And I was like, yeah, dude, it's gross.
Well, I mean, again, like coming from him, it's kind of empty. You know, like when I had him in the space, and like I was trying to make him understand, like you get when you make memes like this, the damage that you're causing and sort of the green light that you give to the rest of the community to attack that person immediately. So it's.
He said, "Hey man, I'm just trying to be funny," The thing about it is like you get caught up in stuff, right? And I said this in my space earlier before, Rob Wood stole all my viewers and lied about stealing $5,000 from the community, which he did do.
Yeah.
But
hold on 1 second. Wait. I'm sorry. Real quick here,
right?
Shane. Just because I see this, I don't mean to cut you off, but Darren Reed's in the chat, and look, man, you've got some fucking hard questions to answer yourself. Like none of you guys are innocent.
I have a question here too.
Yeah, who's that? Arden.
I've got a question here too. Like, why? Hey.
Yep.
Why is the drama being brought to the Discord? It's me, Arden. Why is I set up this Discord with no drama? Why is it being fucking brought here?
Well, because I'm using the Discord as a place for people to call into the show.
With no drama, why is it being fucking brought here?
Wait, Arden, turn down the show so we don't get the echo.
Well, no, like I mean,
there's no like I don't
and all the drama, like everything that's going on in the YouTube is being brought over to the Discord that I set up, and like it says right in the rules that it's drama free.
No, well, I don't think we're doing drama. I'm literally giving the audience the opportunity to call in and ask questions, and I can't do this through Twitter. And I think the Discord is a good place to do it. And look, can I finish? If it gets to a point where I understand, but I get it. I understand, but nobody's yelling at each other here right now. Nobody's putting each other down, and I'm not going to allow for people to bring in drama to this space. If they want to be dramatic, they're going to get kicked out. This is a conversation
on your live. Lou, what you're talking about on your live is being carried over to the Discord.
Okay, so should I end the Discord, Arden?
I don't want you to get mad at me or anything like that, right? But like this is supposed to be like drama free, and like we both kind of agreed on that.
No, we definitely agreed on that, but I don't consider this when I consider drama. I consider drama people saying racist shit. I consider drama people arguing in the fucking chat and people taking it to a personal place. But I don't consider conversations drama. And that's all I'm doing here. I'm inviting for people to have a conversation. If they want to have a conversation about...
I just don't want you to lose people, coming here, if what's being said in the chat,
right,
or what you're talking about on your channel, if it comes here, that you're gonna,
okay, no, I hear what you're saying. No. I hear what you're saying, and look, Arden, I don't want to insult you here, right? Like that wasn't my intention.
No, you're not insulting me by
but I think look, this is the best way to have a group discussion. And I'm just using the group chat as a tool. But if you don't think that's something we should do here.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. But you know what can happen.
Of course.
Like
yeah. But I mean, at least
all kinds of people are going to come in and start causing shit for you.
No, I understand that. And if that's the case, if that happens, then we kick those people out. I mean, it's as simple as that. If you want to come here and have a logical, calm, rational conversation, that's what we'll have. But if you're going to come in here to shitster, I guess I should have probably prefaced it with that. So you didn't know I was doing this. So I'm sorry if I didn't run this by you.
I didn't know. I had to step away for a few minutes.
No, that's, I mean, well, I'd mentioned it in Shane's space that I was thinking about doing something like this, but yeah, I would, you know, but just so you know, I would say, I'd say, let's give this a shot. Let's try. If it doesn't work or if it turns into a cesspool, then I agree with you. We'll never do it again. But to not at least, you know, give it a shot, you know, I think it's an opportunity. Again, like what I started the show with was, you know, the spaces in which people have come in and have provided legitimate and respectful discourse. I'm willing to engage with, you know, and I want to show people that not only I can do that, but that other people can do that as well. And so I'm sorry I didn't run it by you, but I no, I got it. I just figured, hey, you know, it's got the show name on it and everybody's here to talk about the show. And we're doing a show right now. It's an impromptu show. And I think, you know, again, like, only because if I could do this on Twitter, Arden, I would do it. But Twitter doesn't allow me to use my microphone and listen to the show through my headphones. It's not there yet. So, you know, look, you and I can discuss this after today if you want. Let's hit up in the DMs and see and just no. So this way, no, I hear you. I want you. Look, I want you to. Like that. I know you are. I know you're not. I want you to be comfortable just as much as I am. Right. So we'll talk about this when the show's over and just know, yes, I'm on the same page with you. Okay. I promise. I'm with you here as far as not letting this go crazy. So, you know, again, like we're going to do this for another 10 minutes. We'll give it another 10 minutes, Arden, and let's see what happens. But let me ask you, the stuff that I said today, do you think, were you tracking it? Does it make sense?
Oh, that makes sense. 100%.
Okay. Well, that, I mean,
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay, that's good. At least people are understanding the show. Shane, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. So, yeah, we were just, you know, try to keep it out of the drama, if that's possible. I don't know, you know, like, let's just stick to what was said.
Man, I'm going to be honest with you. You know, if you're going to read a bunch of DMs from Leah Prime and you're going to like tell that's drama, dude. And Arden, you know, you have to kind of respect the fact that he owns the show and he's hosting the show and he's trying to get the point across that people have attacked him.
Yeah, I don't think, again, she's not.
I just feel like it's not really. I just feel like it's not really fair though, because he literally just spent 3.5 fucking hours reading off DMs from someone that was claimed that he was simping for all kinds of claims.
Yeah, look, Shane. I think she's coming from a good place. She's trying to protect the show. She's trying to protect the Discord. She's not doing it to silence me or anything or silence you. Like, that's not what this is about. She's genuinely coming from a good place, you know. So that's why Arden is our mod. That's why she set up the Discord, you know. So I just so you know, I trust her and I don't think those are her intentions. Are you good with that?
Yeah, I'm good with whatever, dude. But I do think that you read those DMs and they showed that UAP Mike is a liar.
Yeah.
Not to bring drama here. But it does show that he literally last night he said a bunch of crazy shit.
Yeah.
About like, oh man, what about your DMs? And you were like, you know what I'm gonna do, Mike? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna post all the DMs, and that's the best thing you can do. And it's not like you aren't like Mike, right? Like Mike was like, I'm gonna post all these DMs with Darren and Mary and everyone. You know why? Because they don't like me now, and I'm gonna do that. You know, you had claims made against you, and you showed that those claims were false, and you did that with evidence that you had available. Right. And I think that's the proper way to go about it.
I agree. And yeah, like, I know it's a, this is why I'm doing the show on a Saturday, right? Like, I don't want to bring this show to the normal Monday and Friday show. I knew it was going to be long. I knew I wanted to take my time with it. I knew I wanted to lay all of this shit out for you guys the way I experienced it. And then I wanted people to have an opportunity to come up here and ask questions if they want to ask questions, or if they agree or disagree. That's what we're doing here. So, you know, I know Shane, that you've been taken advantage of, you've been fucked with, you're pissed off just as much as I'm pissed off, and I'm sure you're pissed off for me. And I could feel that, you know, you've had a rough last 2 days with what I think I warned you about a few weeks ago, which was, hey man, like, these people, nobody's your friend here, you know, like, you got to be very careful with you know, with who you label as a friend. And I think we could be respectful, we could be colleagues, we could be, you know, we could be friendly, of course, but you know, I'm never going to call you to ask to borrow $1,000. You know what I mean? Like, you know, most people haven't met in person. That doesn't mean that connections can't be formed and things can't be, you know, real, but just be careful, because look at what I just showed you in the last 3 hours, what happens when you trust people in this conversation, even what seems like the best intention people. You know, a lot of people are playing two different things here. They're again, like, they show one face here and they go to a different place, a different venue, and there's a different fucking set of songs being played there, and you see a different person in that setting. So, you know, yeah, we're trying to, again, build an environment where people are allowed to talk about this, but more importantly, people can question and challenge if what I'm saying is true. And I don't want the drama from the show to be put into the Discord and vice versa. But we have to start being able to build a community where we could talk these things out, literally talk these things out. And I've been having those conversations again in some really great spaces the last couple days, until, you know, the crew that I just talked about for the last hour comes into those spaces. So I know that they're not going to have any opportunity in this venue to cause that kind of shit, because we have complete control of this. So anyway, it doesn't seem like,
I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful with the Twitter guys, right? Like Astral, the biggest snake I've ever met on here. Rob Wood, second to him. Kimball, snake. You know, these people, they do things for you. They make you feel good. And then whenever you have, you know, there's an entire space, Lou, that happened, that Rob Wood space, where people were just dogging on me, bro. And people that I would never in my life, dude, let anyone talk shit about. They just let people talk shit about me. And what'd they say? Nothing. They just said, oh, you know, let's move on to the topic about NHI. But meanwhile, like, you just had fucking the last four speakers drag me through the mud. And it showed me what you just said, Lou. It showed me that you really don't know who these people are. You really don't know what their goals are. The only person from that entire space that I still trust is Stoned 8, Tiffany. You know, it's ridiculous. It's sad. And I deactivated my Twitter account, dude. I'm pretty much done for a while, because just for a while, right? Because I don't know what to do with these people. You know, like, I mean, you know, like, you have people that I love, like, believing that Jason Sands drove to Black Mountain and an alien spaceship crashed, and that alien walked up to his window and then asked for an element, and then he said, why don't you go to Area 51, dude? Because that's where they kill us. That's nonsense. This is your whistleblowers, guys. This is your nonsense that you just sell and love and enjoy. And it's stupid. And don't know what to do about it, other than just to take a step back. And just
I think that's the best thing you can do, Shane, is just take a step back and take a break, man. You know, I think it's always good to do it. But anyway, man, with that said, I've been going for 3.5 hours. I think this show has been, I think I've made my point here. Again, totally like, agree, this is, later, yep. Thanks, Shane. This is, again, like, this is not, like, I didn't do this show because I wanted to do this show. Like, it's not what I wanted. But when I'm having people make accusations about me, you know, and then when those people aren't around, I'm having really logical conversations with everybody else. And they're like, oh man, you're not the big dickhead everybody says you are. And I just want to give history lessons to people and timelines and transparency. Yeah, if you think I'm lying, if you think I'm the biggest piece of shit, ask yourselves, why are people deleting their accounts? Will any other one of the people that I named today go through their DMs like this and make sure that the information is protected that needs to be protected? You know, like I was accused of so many things that I was doing with Leah. All I was doing was being friendly. That's it. And then when I noticed that she was using me, I dropped her like a bag of fucking bricks. So it is what it is, man. I'm sorry that UFO Shane and Stoned Ape, that you guys are not happy with each other now, but yeah, it's cyclical. That's kind of what happens with these UFO spaces is people get mad at each other. They stop talking to each other. They block each other. And then 3 months later, they're talking to each other again. You know, it's always goes around and round and round this merry-go-round. You know, yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I know this was like, it's not a normal Lou review show. This is so much longer than anything we normally do. You know, but I wanted to give you guys my perspective, the whole thing, not just a fucking snippet of it, you know, and not just say things and not have the fucking receipts to back it up. So I'm sure people will be asking me about this here or complaining about it or doing spaces about it. You know, but, yeah, just be good. Try and be good humans to each other. We're not going to agree on everything, and that's okay. But that's not a reason to harass people. That's not a reason to screenshot people. That's not a reason to look up, you know, loved ones' jobs and make memes, you know, like this. Mike wants, yeah, I'm not even going to go into it. Like, he wants to bitch and complain about the images I shared yesterday. I didn't make those images, man. I didn't make them. Those are your friends that made those images. I don't go after people's family members like this. Just sad, man. It's fucking sad. But the probably one of the worst moments that I've had in this community is seeing her face when she saw this. That bummed me out. And it makes me want to just get the fuck out of this conversation. And here's the thing. I'm going to leave on this. For all of those people who think my questions are tough, or my questions are condescending, or my questions are rude, keep this in mind. I am not a scientist, and my questions are poking you in a way that makes you react in a negative way every single time. You guys say you want science and you want people to take this topic seriously. And if you can't handle my questions, you've got no hope with a real scientist. None. Like, you think scientists are going to be as patient as me? You think scientists are going to be as patient as Mick West? You think scientists are going to be as patient as Stephen Greenstreet? He's not that patient, right? But or John Greenwald, I think, is a better example. No chance. They're going to question every aspect of the things that you say. You want real scientists in your fucking spaces? They'll never come. They'll never come because you guys do not have the ability to say, no, that's bullshit. No, that's wrong. Or, hey, this theory, it's a theory, not fact. You'll never get real science to take this seriously unless you can provide counter arguments that make the scientists go, oh, you're right. That is evidence. But you don't have that. You have forms of it, but you don't have enough of it. And that is the facts. And just because those are the facts does not give you the right to do shit like this. Just fucking doesn't.